Hey, I'm Brian. Welcome back to Here's the Deal. What is a bootlicker? I hear that term a lot. What do you mean when you say somebody is a bootlicker? I'll let you answer that in your own mind. I'm sure people have variations of the same type of meaning. Obviously, it's not a good thing to be called a bootlicker. It sounds a little bit demeaning to humble yourself or demoralize yourself to the point where you're going to lick somebody else's boots off. And why would you do that? It's basically this pejorative term that implies that the bootlicker excessively flatters or obeys authority figures, often to gain favor or avoid trouble. And we've seen that a lot. I've been a bootlicker before in the past. Have you? Have you ever flattered an authority figure in order for you to not get in trouble, even though you knew you didn't do anything wrong? You just kind of violated their laws, which are all bogus anyway. Most of them are. It suggests a lack of independence, a lack of integrity, and a lack of willingness to challenge those in power. So I want to challenge those in power, and I want to challenge people who believe that they should placate people in authority. I mean, I know it's metaphorical, but I mean, there's some serious imagery there when you think about calling somebody a bootlicker. It's a pretty powerful term, and it pretty much says it all. So I want to talk about this concept of being a bootlicker and subject myself to criticism of possibly being a bootlicker, or in the words of this person right here, pussy. And I'm not using this to call this person out. As a matter of fact, I just not 10 minutes ago replied to her reply to me. And I'm not offended that she called me a pussy right here. I'm not offended at all. I could be wrong on this issue. I could be completely off base on this issue. What this video is about is it's kind of a combination of things, but I want to start with some responses. Like a lot of people unsubscribed to me for this one of the second to the last video that I just did called Kentucky Chaos, Police Chaos in Kentucky, where I made it very clear that I'm not for the protesters and I'm not for the cops. Why are we against cops anyway? I'll tell you why I'm against cops, because they don't want to leave me alone. They don't want to leave you alone. They want to trample my rights under the color of things like traffic law and regular political laws. And when somebody violates your rights, they are doing wrong. Just like if you violate somebody else's rights who doesn't want to be violated, you have done wrong. I mean, in the sexual world, we have a term for that. It's called RAPE. I can't say it on this live stream, but if you violate somebody sexually, you have RAPE'd them. And that means you didn't get their consent before you went forward trying to gratify your own desires. In the life realm, it's called murder. Isn't that weird? We can say murder on a live stream, but you can't say grape. We live in just such a crazy world. But if you take somebody's life or you infringe on somebody's life, let's say you keep them alive, but you kidnap them. Well, you've done wrong. Have you done wrong because the politicians told you that you shouldn't do it and you broke a law? No, it's self-evident why you did wrong. What do you mean it's self-evident, Brian? Because you wouldn't want to be kidnapped. You wouldn't want to be murdered. You wouldn't want to be raped. You wouldn't want adverse things done to you. You wouldn't want somebody coming in. You don't even want somebody coming into your bubble, your zone of influence, unwelcomed if you don't consent to it. That's a violation of your freedoms. And if you violate the freedoms of others, you've broken, and you can put a religious spin on this if you want to. I'm not referencing any holy book. I'm not referencing any religion, but if you violate the golden rule, do to others what you would want done to you. Conversely, don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. If you violate that, then you violated your own conscience. You have become the hypocrite of life because you don't want those bad things done to you without your consent, in violation of your rights. So it's self-evident, and by that I mean, if you're a sane, rational person who's able to tell the truth, you don't want to be stolen from, you don't want to be lied to, you don't want to be defrauded, you don't want to be groped, you don't want to be murdered, you don't want to be kidnapped, you don't want to be infringed upon. So this is what I'm talking about here. So she says, and again, I am not against this person. I am thankful that this person wrote this because it kind of pushed me over the edge to do a live stream that people are constantly calling for me to do. and I haven't done one in over a month. So she says, I don't agree with your pussy take on protest, Brian. Get it together. You truly have some nerve calling them, the protesters, garbage human beings. Thank you, Sevenfold. And I will get to the super chats at the end, guys. I just don't want to break my train. I appreciate you guys being members and everything. You truly have some nerve calling the protesters garbage human beings from the comfort of your chair while they put their bodies and lives on the line. You really can be blind AF a lot of times. You stop being a douchebag too. Now, I said at the beginning of this video right here, I'm not on board with what the cops did because number one, they're funded by tax cattle money. In other words, they're welfare recipients. They're actually living off of the tax cattle, which is inherently wrong. You shouldn't steal money. It's a transfer of wealth is what it is. You shouldn't be allowed to steal money from one group of people and give it to another group of people who are going to provide you with a service. They're going to protect and serve you, whether you want protection and service or not. That's not legitimate. That's not moral. The second thing is I'm against the protesters because the protesters in this case right here violated the rights of other people who just want to travel down the road. They don't want to involve themselves into your protest. And shouldn't they be free to do that? There are people who have unsubscribed to me today because they believe that you should be able to block off traffic. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I got a serious problem with that. And it's even aside from the fact that what if I'm driving down the road? What if my wife's pregnant and I got to get her to the hospital right now? You know, she's hemorrhaging, or I've got a kid in the back seat who, there was we've been chopping wood and they chopped their arm off and they're bleeding to death. Well, now you've held up my ability to go to the hospital and get treatment and my kid could die. Or I have a job where I cannot clock in late. If I clock in late, the stipulations of where I work is if you clock in late, you lose your job. Well, my job is the way I support my family. So now you're messing with my livelihood or any number of the reasons that I could be out on the road, but you're going to infringe upon my right to travel freely. I don't care what your reason is. You don't have a right to do that. You don't have the right to trample on my rights. And why is it that we're against cops anyway? Because they trample on and infringe upon our rights and intrude into our lives and they harass us. Well, it's harassment and it's an infringement for any protester to stand in the middle of the street and hold up traffic when you got places to go. I don't understand, especially with my channel and how long I've been around and the subscribers that I have. I don't understand. It's your freedom. My feelings aren't hurt that people have unsubscribed, but I'm sitting here scratching my head going, okay. And then I go back over my video and I'm like, okay, I want to look through maybe I'm wrong. I want to look through the lenses of liberty and freedom and all that is right and just in this world. And I want to severely criticize myself if I said something that is inconsistent with protecting your freedoms, your children's freedoms, your mom and dad's freedoms. Because the reason I'm against cops is because they hate your freedoms and they're looking for any reason to violate your rights and break their sacred oath to the Bill of Rights, let's say. They deprive you of your rights under color of law. They conspire against your rights in violation of 18 USC 241 and 242. That's what they're all about. As a matter of fact, I contend the reason I say ACAB is because they actually take an oath to violate your rights. How do you mean, Brian? Because when they put their hand on the Bible and raise their right hand toward heaven and swear to God that they'll protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, they're also swearing, and then it's ... and the laws of the state, most of which are anti-First Amendment and anti-Second Amendment and anti-Fourth Amendment and anti-Fifth Amendment and anti-Ninth Amendment and 10th Amendment. So they take a hypocritical oath to uphold your rights as within the same oath, they swear to demolish your rights. So what is my particular beef with cops? is that a human being thinks it's okay to take away my rights, to infringe on my life simply because they put a piece of fabric called a costume or a uniform on and a utility belt and believe they have authority that none of the rest of us has. Where if you did the exact same thing that the cops did, you would be thrown in jail, rightly removed from society. The only people who should be thrown into jail, by the way, are people who are intruding on other people's rights. In other words, you've committed a crime. That's what a crime is. You've left a victim. You've stolen property. You've damaged property and you refuse to pay for it. Or you've harmed somebody. You've hurt somebody. That's the only true legitimate definition of a crime. Not that you broke the laws of politicians. What the hell is that? Do you know how many laws are aligned against you? I had somebody write to me just today and said that they were in jail for 3 years because of 5 grams of weed. That is criminal. And what I mean by criminal is it's criminal to put that innocent man away because he has plant matter in his car or his house or on his person. Tell me that's not a violation of rights. So when I have people quitting and unsubscribing, which is fine, it's a free world, but you're unsubscribing as I'm detailing the evil that I thought we were all against. It's evil for cops to do what they do. And it's similarly evil for the protesters to do what they did in standing in the streets and violating other people's rights as they protest the violation of rights. Think about the insanity and the irony of that. Is my tongue bleeding? Because I just bit the heck out of my tongue. These protesters are violating people's rights as they claim to be protesting for a guy's rights that ICE just took away and put into a deportation camp or internment camp or whatever you want to call it. And then when I use certain terms like internment camp, people call me a leftist. Do people really not listen? I am not left. I am not right. I'm not independent. I am apolitical. I am a political atheist. Why? Because politics is now and always has been the lie that people have the right to scribble down laws on pieces of paper and say, you must obey them. Or else, if you don't obey what I wrote down on this piece of paper and got all my 535 buddies in Congress to sign off on, if you don't obey that, then we're going to send our enforcers to your house and take you away, kidnap you, and lock you into a cage because we say you need to obey our laws. You didn't do what we told you to do, or you did do what we told you not to do. Politics is the clever and deceptive art of using euphemisms, lies, emotionalism, and fear-mongering in order to dupe average people like you and me into accepting and even demanding the chains of our own enslavement. That's what you're doing when you're voting. You're putting your slip of paper in the slave suggestion box and you're saying, rule me, daddy, rule me, mommy. Take more of my tax money, make more policies so that we can have a better world. And I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, every single president writes and backs and supports policies along with the House and the Senate that devalues the product of your time and laboring energies, which is your currency. They're actually stealing from your labor. They're stealing your energy away. They're stealing your time. And to involve yourself in politics is to consent to a criminal organization that is stealing the time and laboring energies of every single American. What do people not understand about that? And you can't vote your way out of this. If I just vote harder, if I vote with more knowledge, if I have more knowledge about the candidates, every candidate, I don't care if you're talking about the best candidate in the world, Ron Paul, Thomas Massey, those people who are like stalwarts, supposed to be stalwarts of the Bill of Rights. They're not. They're all a part of the organization because they continue to play the game. And as long as you continue to play the game, we will continue to experience the problems at the exponential rate we've been going. Now we're going to have to deal with AI governance. You think it's bad now. Wait till people's minds really get warped. You got to stop applauding the chains of your own oppression. And wherever you see anybody violating anybody's rights, are you going to be against it or not? Stop making excuses for people who are interfering with somebody else's rights. You don't have the right to block traffic. I don't care what your cause. It could be the best cause in the world. That is not your outlet. It's not your obligation. It's not your responsibility. It's not your duty to stand in front of traffic and block somebody else's rights. If anybody in the room disagrees with what I've just said up to this point, put a 2 in the room, because I do want to talk to you and I will open the lines, but I want to open the lines to people who disagree. I'm not interested in locking myself in an echo chamber. I'm not interested in hearing myself speak or have somebody go, "Good job, Ryan. You said a really good thing right there." Which I'm not saying it's bad to disagree or anything, but I want to hear people who fundamentally disagree with what I'm saying, because it really comes back to a basic question. Do you trust government? What part of government do you trust? If you say, yes, I trust government, how much do you trust them? So put a 2 in the room if you disagree. Put a 1 in the room if you agree. But I definitely want to talk to people. Let me show you, see if I can find some people who say that I unsubscribed, because there were several of them. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's see. Oh, I thought that I had that up on the screen. Liberty of Identity says, you just lost a subscriber. Okay. That was easy. Why? Unsub. I can't stand it. If I unsub somebody, which I don't, even if I vehemently disagree with them, have I ever unsubbed somebody? I don't think so. I would give a reason. Here's why I'm unsubbing you. But can't we just talk about this? That's why I'm doing the live stream, because I want to talk to people who disagree with what I said. If you think it's right for somebody to stand in the middle of traffic and shut down traffic and impede on and infringe on somebody's rights, I want to know the argument for it. This person says, deport them all. Who do you want deporting them? Who are them all? Oh, those illegals. Okay. So that takes us back to the original question. If you want people deported, pause that for a second. We'll get back to it. Do you trust government? The answer is, if you're sane, if you're rational, if you've been thinking about any of these things for any length of time, you are going to say, hell no, I don't trust government. I've got a list of operations, Operation Gladio, Operation Paperclip, Operation Northwoods. If there were just those 3 operations against the American people, I mean, thought out, laid out plans by the Defense Department against the American people for the benefit of the government. If there were just those 3 operations, and there are way more. I mean, we would be listing them all day if we just listed them by name and didn't give any details. But if there were just those 3, how about the Tuskegee experiment? They actually experimented on fellow Americans, keeping syphilis treatments from them to see what would happen for 42 years. Not to mention the things that they've dropped from the sky that the declassified documents have told us about. Conspiring against Americans on a continual basis, using tax cattle dollar to do it, wasting vast sums of money, leading us off into wars, devaluing our currency, which is basically saying, I don't give a damn about your time and labor. I'm going to steal from it. Deepening the pockets of the defense contractors. I mean, the list goes on and on. Introducing radiation to the American people. Radiating military men just to see what would happen. If you say you trust government, I want to know to what extent and why the hell would you trust a government who's constantly lying to you, constantly devaluing your currency, taking away your money, taking away your rights, threatening you with jail time if you don't pay your fair share. You're going to go to jail, Bugsy. It's literally, we're being run by a cartel, a mafia, an organized crime ring. So the question is, do you trust government? If the answer is no, then let me get back to Clayton here. Who do you want deporting them all? Who do you want deporting them? If you don't trust government, then you're telling me you don't trust ICE, which you shouldn't, and you don't trust the FBI, which you shouldn't, or the ATF, which you shouldn't. As far as DEA and FBI and ATF, just refer to Waco, Texas. What was their crime? You may vehemently disagree with David Koresh and the nonsense that he was doing up there, whatever. But what crime did he commit? Those people seem pretty happy to me. Brian, you don't understand. There's child bad stuff. Nope, never proven. Never proven. You know what they got him on? Stockpiling weapons. How about Randy Weaver? He bought a shotgun that was not long enough and ended the life of his wife, his dog, his kid. That's the FBI and ATF. So tell me, do you trust the ATF, the FBI, the DEA, ICE? Well, if you don't trust them, then who do you want deporting all these people? Before you say, no, I'm for deportation, really, do you know what that really means? That means you're for another alphabet government soup agency stealing from you and putting that money into their coffers so that they can get more manpower and more equipment to do more evil things and waste more money. That's what you're actually saying. You're for nationwide theft so that we can continue border patrol and ICE. Anytime a government that's big enough to give you everything you want, and there are a lot of people who want a lot of things from government, is a government that's big enough to take everything you've got. And they do every single day, whether you see it or not. They don't even have to come to the door to take from you anymore. You go to the grocery store and you find out that, I used to have dollar bills here. You go to the grocery store and you find out, hey, chicken is no longer 99 cents a pound. Now it's $1.99 a pound. Eggs are no longer $1.50 a carton. Now they're $5 a carton. Well, a theft just happened. One of the most insidious thefts, one of the biggest transfers of wealth and power is inflation. It's the inflation tax. That's government doing that to you through their policies, through restrictions, through regulations, through subsidies. And they eliminate competition. Have you noticed that nobody in CVS or a Walmart pharmacy or Walgreens ever goes to jail? They're distributing dangerous drugs. I mean, the pharmaceutical companies started the opioid crisis. None of them are going to jail, but you'll go to jail if we catch you with a bag of weed, boy. I'm for the drug war because I care about Americans' families and people are dying from fentanyl. It needs to stop. Okay, so who do you want to stop it? That government that you just said you don't trust? Be careful with your words, or examine your words, examine your thoughts. So hopefully, I was hoping that CJ here, here we go. I was hoping that CJ would be in the room so that she could disagree with me openly. I don't have a problem with the disagreement. I just wonder where the blindness comes from and how I have a pussy take on protests when all I mentioned about I don't have any problem with you protesting, but if you start taking away people's rights as you're exercising your own, your right to swing your fist ends where my nose begins. In other words, you don't have the right to use your right to eliminate my right. I thought this was obvious. I don't get how it's not. Put a 1 in the room if you want to do a call in, but I'm not up for chit chat. I want to stay on the topic. And the topic is, do you trust government? What part of the government do you trust? How much do you trust that part of government? Do you realize that part of government is filled with corruption and corrupt people? It's not even so much that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's that power draws the corruptible. So when you have a power vacuum, the corruptible want it because they want that ring of power. Why? Because they want to control you. And they'll do it by any means necessary, by hook or by crook. So if you want to do a call in, let's see. It's been so long since I've done a live stream. Let me see something. But I want to stay on topic. And that topic is it wrong for protesters to use their protesting, we'll just call it protesting rights, to interfere with the rights of others? By hooker or by crook. I saw that. Let me get with the super chats here. Sevenfold 777. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Hey, become a member today. Support the channel if you want. If you like what I'm saying here, if you disagree with it, I want to hear it. You know, we're all on a journey, and on this journey, we're learning. None of us has all knowledge. I'm convinced still that none of us is greater than all of us, because you have knowledge that I don't have, that I need. I may have a little something that you need. Stomper, member for 17 months. How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? Sevenfold. You can't spell police without lie, and corrupt without cop. That's pretty good. Russell Houston says you're wrong about Ron Paul. He wanted to shut down the Federal Reserve. Shutting down the Federal Reserve removes color of law. Color of law is based on fictitious currency, means nothing. I was a supporter of Ron Paul. I was a delegate to Ron Paul and his campaign in 2012. I love Ron Paul. I've learned a lot from Ron Paul. I don't have anything against him, but a vote for Ron Paul is still a vote for the chains of your own oppression. And here's why. Because Ron Paul is going to become a part of a machine that doesn't need the president. Presidents don't run anything. So when you vote for a person who's president, even if they're William Wallace, let's say, you voted for William Wallace. When he gets in there, he's going to clean up. No, he can't. You might as well put a 5-year-old handcuffed, blindfolded, euthanized cat or a chimpanzee in the office of the president. Doesn't matter who's president. The president isn't calling the shots. The president doesn't cause inflation. The president is there to have his pen, and now it's auto pen. He's there to have his pen and make things look like he's running things. It looks like he's the leader or the ruler of the free world. It looks like he's the commander in chief of the armed forces. He's not. He's not. If the president of the United States does not have command and control of the nation's currency, it doesn't matter what laws he writes, what executive orders he signs. He is as good as being a dead squirrel sitting on the chair behind the desk of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Not in control. Not in control. All right, here's the link. Oh, we got one person in the room. 10th man. What's up, 10th man?
Hey, bro. How's it going?
Good. How you doing? Last time we had an audio issue, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, the time before last. Yeah.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Whatever you got did work, fixed it.
Okay. Floor is yours, man. What you got?
Right. So, I know your time's limited, but so this is the way I look at it. And you're very high energy. I'm trying to center myself. So the goings on that have happened over the lists that haven't been released. I've watched all your videos. I don't know if you get a lot of comments, so you probably don't pay attention, but the world has come to the realization that we didn't win World War II, that those people went into hiding, put themselves and their next generations into powers of position to reinstitute the exact same type of policies 80-something years later that they tried to do 80 years ago. But they couldn't do it 80 years ago because we didn't have a way to track everybody. You could go live in the woods and hide. That's all done. So I believe that the majority of society has come to the realization that we can't hide anymore. They're coming for every single one of us. And I think I heard you say earlier in the stream that something isn't a monolith. I don't remember what it was. But that protest is also not a monolith. Not everybody that's there is just protesting that specific situation with that specific person being held in ICE. I think a large majority of the people that go to any protest going forward are there quite simply just to protest the globalists and our governments. So I think that might be why people kind of got frustrated, because you speak plainly. The majority of people need you to sugarcoat it for them, and you're really blunt. And I've noticed you become more blunt. Maybe it's because you're tired because you're doing 2 channels. I'm not trying to be a dick, but people are really, really soft, right? Everybody wants Superman to come save them after the lockdowns. You know, I find it awfully cute that once the lockdowns ended, well, it's no longer a state of emergency, so everybody can capitalize on that as much as they want. Now, if they had done price fixing and all that stuff during the pandemic, that would have been illegal, right? But I want everybody to remember one simple thing. Never forget the gentleman who bought all the hand sanitizer and then had cops come raid his house. That's what we're all in for. So that's all I really had to say for the moment. I know probably other people are waiting, but you're going to have to soften things up a little bit if you don't expect huge troll messages in your chat, in your comments, right? And I'm going to keep saying the same thing to you. I say to you for 5 years now. You give way more attention. I've watched you for over 5 years now. You give more attention to your trolls than you do, for instance, a person like myself that's been following you for over 6 years. Now, I don't even do a show anymore, right? But I've seen you do 20 shows like this, at least in the past 5-6 years. Just saying, you shouldn't be. If you feed the bears, they're going to keep coming back. And so,
Yeah, that's a design flaw within my own DNA. So, but you know, one of the reasons I give one of the reasons I give energy and attention to trolls is because it is a contrary view, and I like to. When I look at YouTube videos, I look at YouTube videos created by YouTube creators or Rumble creators, whoever, who have a different view than me, because I want to internally challenge myself. It's so easy to listen to people that you like, that you agree with, it's non-controversial, you know, there's not going to be any pushback. So I like to, in a sense, feed the trolls, because maybe the trolls have a good point. But you brought up a good point, and that point is, we are entering an age where we can't go out in the desert anymore and hide from these people. I saw a disturbing thing that was posted by David Icke yesterday. It was an AI powered apple picker. Did you see that? This apple picker here, I'm going to bring it up right now.
I've seen the ones that cut down the wheat, the robots that cut. You see that yet? The robots that go like with a scythe or a knife, and they cut the wheat.
I have not seen that, but let me show you this apple picker. Can you see it on the screen? Look, tell me this. Tell me this isn't innovative. It's as innovative as it is terrifying, because the ramifications here. I'll just play this without. There's noise on it, but look, it sucks the apples off, and it uses. I'm assuming it uses some kind of infrared to detect where the apple is. And then these arms pick the apple up without damaging it and puts it in a trough. No humans required. And if you've got this, I also saw this machine one time that it laid this upside down umbrella under this peach tree. And then these big arms came out and just shook the crap out of that peach tree. And all these peaches fell down. And then it grabbed the umbrella and it put it into this trough. And I'm thinking, humanity does not realize how close it is to be replaced. I mean, you would think, have you ever picked strawberry? Have you ever gone out to an orchard and got paid to pick strawberries? Yeah, I've done that too.
But I've done the you pick thing though.
Yeah, you pick. You would think while you're picking, it's like, no way a machine can replace me. Machines are replacing us at an exponential rate. People do not realize it. Elon Musk said on Joe Rogan 3 times that it is likely that AI will end humanity by the end of 2029. We are talking about in less than 3.5, 4 years. So we need to all get our heads together, and whatever we disagree on, maybe we should put those aside for a second and try to figure out how humanity is going to continue to exist in the future.
Yeah.
So,
well,
man,
that's
I
what
appreciate
see
you.
happening with self-driving cars as well. Is then once they get self-driving tractor trailers, then we're all done. So, all right, buddy, I'll be in the chat.
All right, take care. Thanks. Brick was next. Let's see, Brick, what's up? How you doing? You're muted.
I was muted. What's up, brother man?
What you got, man?
So, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding and perhaps define terms a little bit. When you're saying protesting, I want to make sure that I'm understanding what you're meaning, because you mentioned that, you know, our rights stop where someone else's begins and vice versa. And so I would say that there are times when protest may be necessary, and that exists where violations are occurring, and it may actually be necessary. What's called the necessary evil. I know that people say it's, and you are one for saying that it's not necessary. If it's evil, it's not necessary.
Let me understand what you're saying. Are you saying it's okay for some people to exercise their rights sometimes, even if it violates somebody else's rights?
Yes.
Because you know that's why I'm against cops, because they feel like, oh, it's necessary. We got to give them a speeding ticket. If they continue speeding, they're going to put the safety at risk. It's necessary to interfere with this person's life and get their ID because they look suspicious. So let me give you a chance here. Go ahead and lay out the case. You got the floor.
Yeah. So there's social doctrine, right? So every ship needs a captain. It's even built within the theory of law and rights, right? And so there are times when someone who has violated natural rights, that their natural rights may be taken just simply based on the fact that they have forfeited them, right? And it's their choice. It's by their choice that they have done this, or even possibly by mistake.
Can you give like a real world example?
Yeah, manslaughter. Manslaughter is one of those things where, yes, it's unfortunate that we have to lock you up.
What are you talking about? Give me the details on that.
So if you accidentally hit somebody with your car.
Okay.
Yeah. If you accidentally hit somebody with your car, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to do some time for that, in my opinion.
But that's apples and oranges to what the protesters are doing. The protesters are actually violating the rights of people who didn't harm anybody. They just want to be left alone. They want to travel down the highway, but now the road is blocked off by protesters. So I'd like to keep the apples in the apple basket and the oranges in the orange basket. Okay. And that kind of took one orange out and put it in the apple basket. So
that's an extreme example. I agree.
Well, it's not a good example, though, because the guy who did the manslaughter, whether he did it accidentally or not, took somebody else's rights, and in this case, a life away.
Exactly.
So when is it right for somebody to use their rights to infringe on the rights of somebody else who hasn't harmed anybody or threatened to harm anybody?
And so to take it down to the protesting, right? So a city that is failing because the citizens have not acted appropriately and taken action prior to the failing of the city, right? So give me an example
of a failing that you might be referring to.
So a mayor's voted in, say, right? Because citizens weren't at the polls, let's say, right? And they weren't doing the checks and balances that they were required to do. And so he puts in individuals that he likes, but they're very tyrannical, right? And so it's a failing of the citizens, in my opinion, that they've allowed this thing to happen. And so in that case, now citizens who really don't even have a chance, who aren't aware, begin to be violated. and then turnabout comes where they are out there protesting. And now the citizens who voted for this tyrannical system, the ones that are on their way to work and put these votes in, at that point, now they're suffering because of the fact that they themselves created the system. So it's a turnaround.
Let me give you the benefit of,
right?
Yeah, but I don't agree with it. Let me give you the benefit of the doubt on this. Let's say there are 1,000 people on the road trying to get to work, trying to get to the hospital, just trying to drop kids off at soccer or whatever. And 999 of them voted for these policies that you say brought on this protest that blocked the roads. But one of them didn't. That one person, if that one person was blocked off because of the voting policy, the policies that were brought on by the 999 voters, that's evil. If there was just one person, and I doubt that the majority of those people even voted for the policies that made the protesters do what they did. So my contention is nobody's right. And I want to bring it around to this. An injustice against one person anywhere is an injustice against all people everywhere. So even if 0.001% didn't vote that brought those policies and therefore the protesters to block that road, that is an injustice that cannot be tolerated by anybody. Do you disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree with that. I believe that all injustice is still injustice.
But you're saying that it's good to commit some injustices because sometimes it's necessary. I thought that's what your argument was.
Revolution, right? Specifically our Revolutionary War that is documented in history, that these men did some pretty terrible things. They had to do some pretty egregious things.
To who? The British?
Sure.
But the British were violating their rights. They were fighting back. This isn't what like I said, let's stay with the protester example. Mm-hmm. Do you agree that protesters should be able to, if policies are bad and people voted in, do you believe that it's okay for protesters exercising their unalienable rights should violate the rights of others in protesting?
So rights.
Freedom, the freedom to travel, Everyone's got the freedom to travel.
Freedom to travel.
I don't believe we have rights. I think it's more accurate to say you don't have the right to infringe on somebody else's freedom. It's right. It's better to say the negative because you can actually prove it. And all you have to do is ask that person the question, do you want somebody infringing on your rights? The answer is going to be no if they're sober-minded and sane and not lying. So it's not that we have rights, but nobody's got the right to take away your freedoms. You agree with that, right?
Freedoms, right. I believe that that's a better word for it, right? Liberties even, right? So you have a liberty, but your liberty cannot infringe upon someone else's liberty.
Right. But you said at the beginning of this conversation that sometimes that's necessary and you call it a necessary evil. So are you rethinking that or do you still stand by that?
No, for rights, because rights are law. Right. Whereas liberty is not.
Well, I'd like to get away from rights. I'm just talking about my freedom to travel down the road. Based on what you said at the beginning of the conversation, is my freedom to travel down the road can be infringed upon as a necessary evil as these people exercise their right to protest. That's your argument, right?
Sometimes, not all the time.
And you're saying that it's okay to commit injustice against one man anywhere, and you're willing to accept that injustice that happens to that one man is going to spill onto all men everywhere. So rather than speak out for that one person who's getting his rights violated, you're saying, oh, sorry to tell you, I think you should get your freedoms trampled on and infringed upon.
No, I'm saying that there's a point where certain men forfeit their rights because they didn't take proper action prior. It's a forfeiting. Of your rights.
So you know it is a form of tyranny to obstruct the travel of a free man, right? It is a form, an aspect of tyranny. It's an oppression. It's an unwelcome oppression.
Well, no, that's not accurate. Just because your freedom to travel, your liberty actually to travel is blocked, that doesn't mean that now it's an oppression.
If you want to travel from A to B and somebody blocks you from doing it, that's not an oppression?
No, not always. Not always. So
Wait, when is it
we're
not? Wait, Brick, when is it not?
So we're human beings, right? And so we have a conscientious civic duty to each other. So as human beings, we might move aside to let somebody pass.
No. Let's stick with what your scenario is. Brick wants to go to the store.
Mhm.
Brian and his team of ghouls, 5 team of ghouls, is going to block you from going to the store. And I say, well, this is one of those times where you're just going to have to give up your rights because it's a necessary evil. You're saying that's okay.
In that scenario, maybe me or you as Brian trying to travel to the store don't understand what's going down over there at the store and don't understand.
What could possibly be going down that gives me the right to infringe on your freedom of movement?
I mean, it could be some type of stick up going on, a hostage situation.
So you're not free to put yourself in a stick up situation. If you're not free to put yourself, this is Brick. This is why I have a Here's the Deal channel, because I am against the kind of mentality you're conveying right here.
No.
You're actually saying for the safety of Brick, going to the supermarket, he doesn't understand there's a stick up, there's a mass shooting event going on there, and we're going to keep him safe. That's tyranny. I don't want you to keep me safe. I want to be, if I'm not free to put myself in a dangerous situation, I'm not free, right?
I mean, you can walk right off the ledge if you'd like, but we put guardrails there for a reason. Like,
so you're for tyranny. You're actually making an argument for tyranny sometimes when somebody feels like infringing on your rights.
Would you say that there are some people who don't know what's best for them?
No, answer my question. You're saying tyranny and oppression and limiting freedom of movement is sometimes okay.
Not saying that. No.
But you're not willing to admit that forcing somebody and limiting the freedom of movement is not an aspect of tyranny?
Not always.
When is it not?
Safety, real safety, true safety.
Do you know the safety of the people is the alibi of tyrants? You know that politicians.
Well, then we're our own tyrants.
Governors. What?
Then we are our own tyrants. We put clothing on. We shield ourselves behind a windshield of a vehicle. We do all sorts of things for safety. This is just one aspect of reality.
Wait a minute. Why are you conflating things? You can do things for your own safety and you can take risks, and that's all on you. But I don't have a say over keeping you safe. I don't have authority over you.
So if I pay the guy to build a parapet, then that is me, but also the other guy that I paid to build a safety net. It's a parapet. There's nothing wrong with
Brick
providing a little bit of safety.
Brick, you're making no sense. Are you for or against tyranny?
I'm against tyranny.
But sometimes it's okay.
No.
Are you for the infringement of rights or against the infringement of rights?
I'm not for the infringement of rights.
But sometimes it's okay to infringe and get in the way of a guy who wants to move forward, you said.
Oh, look.
Right? No, yes or no.
No. No. You're mistaking.
No, I'm not. You literally said, and I asked you twice, you literally said sometimes it's okay to get in somebody's way and restrict their movement. And then you said for safety. And now you're backing out of it. So
are there real
with that or not?
Are there real crimes?
Can you answer the question? I'm not going to go on to the next thing. You said that sometimes for safety, it's okay to restrict.
Well, I'm trying to make sure that I understand your definitions. Because
no. Let's just talk about, forget about definitions. You said sometimes it's okay to restrict the basic movement of another man by another man for safety. Are you going to stick by that?
Sometimes, yes, I will stick by that.
Okay, then you're for tyranny sometimes, because that's tyranny. That's
not tyranny.
That is tyranny. What is tyranny? What define tyranny?
Tyranny, oppression, like extreme restriction.
It's not extreme restriction to restrict the movement of somebody, and if
violations of law.
And if you keep on trying to go, they're going to put their hands on you and physically restrain you.
That may be tyranny. No. Look, you're not. It is tyranny. You're not free to just do anything.
Brick, I'm glad you're saying this because basically you're exposing yourself on a live stream. You are literally for sometimes.
Brian, are there real crimes? Are there
Brick,
real crimes?
You
Are there
for
real
sometimes
evil
tyranny.
acts?
We
Are we
haven't
not
even talked to we haven't even talked about crimes. We haven't even talked. We've talked about a
Are
man,
there real evil acts?
a man who wants to move from one point A to point B and is restricted by another man is tyranny. It is oppression. It's severe restriction, and you say you're for it.
Not
sometimes.
always. Not
No, I know.
always.
That's what I said. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
necessary.
sometimes it is very important to have to restrict monsters.
You'd be a good cop. You'd be a great cop. I got to restrict that monster.
I never have to become a cop.
No, you'd be a great cop. You have the mentality of a cop.
No, I don't.
We are going to give him $110 seatbelt ticket because he didn't keep him. But it's for safety. But it's for safety, Brick. I'm giving him $110.
No,
I'm going to economically
I would never
terrorize
take another human's life. I wouldn't do it.
But you would restrict them sometimes, or you would approve.
There are some, yeah, with a warrant.
Yeah, you would approve of others.
Yes,
you would approve of others restricting
because some things
you
are not okay. Some things are evil.
Like going to the store. Like going to the store.
No, I'm not saying going to the store. I'm saying that real crimes.
I'm not letting you off.
Violence.
Not letting you off. Not letting you off.
Is violence a good thing?
It depends on what the context is. You can be violent to somebody who's trying to break in your house and try to slit your wife and kids' throats.
That's a defense. That's you defending
defensive violence. It's defensive violence. It's defensive violence.
Violence. Yes. The root word of violence is vile. That means bad. Doing what is bad. Yes.
You can be violent with somebody in a defensive way.
No, that is not violence. Defense is not violent.
Chopping somebody's head off is not violent.
Yeah, that's extremely violent.
Really? How about putting a hole in how about putting a 40 caliber bullet hole in somebody's chest? Is that violent?
I mean, I'm not for the death penalty. So
no, is putting a 40 caliber bullet or 45 or whatever 223 in somebody's chest, is that violent?
Yeah.
What if you did it to save your wife?
I would call that defense.
That's acceptable. You called it violence, and it's acceptable and justified violence.
You added a caveat.
Brick, let me say, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that you approve of sometimes tyranny, and you approve of sometimes.
No,
wait,
no, stop, Brian.
Your justification. Hold on. Let me finish, and then you can talk. Let me finish. You said you are for restricting the movement of a man who wants to go to the store for safety in case there's a shooter. That's what you said.
Well, a barrier may be put up. Yeah, barrier may be put up, and if you try to cross that border,
so you believe in the police tape lie. The police, just because they can put up police tape and it makes it legal, doesn't make it right. If a journalist wants to go beyond the barrier and record so he can get audio and video, that police tape doesn't make anything sacred or justify anything. Just because the law says a cop can do something, there are laws all the time that say cops can break in your door at 2:00 in the morning if they have a warrant and they suspect you have weed. That is evil. That's vile. And that is wrong. It's immoral. Even though they got a warrant, it's still not right.
Go
ahead.
There are a lot of problems with the way the system is now. I agree with that.
I'm not letting you off the hook. You actually you support tyranny. I gotta move on, man. I gotta move on. You support tyranny.
We'll talk about it again.
Yeah. Take care.
Have another panel, bro.
All right. We're at, oh man, Willis hung up. Willis, I see Willis there, but I can't click add to stage. Brian, calm down. I'm sorry. I can't calm down when somebody tells me that sometimes tyranny is okay. That gets all over me, because one day that'll happen to Brick, and I don't want it to happen to Brick. One day it's going to happen to me or to my kids, and I don't want it to happen to me or my kids. And these aren't just catchphrases. They're not just clever sayings. An injustice committed against one man anywhere is an injustice against all men everywhere. If you disagree or agree with that, I've got the StreamYard link in the description or the chat room right here. Let me see. I saw 10th man. Hold on one second, okay? Let's see. We got
all good.
Okay. Let's see. Russell Joseph Doe, thanks for being a member. Butch says, go watch Theo Von, Thomas Massey. It's very interesting. I think you need to see it. Thomas Massey says a lot of right things, but he's in the wrong situation to be able to affect any change. And we see that all the time with what Donald Trump says about him and everything. Neurocast says, they sent HLS to my home at 3 a.m. to intimidate me after I posted a video discussing the gadgets we made for Ukraine in 2020 at the DOD out of Florida. I want to hear that story, Neural. I want to hear that story. Allie Bell, member for 17 months. Thank you, Allie. And Dan Howard, thank you for being here. 10th man, go for it.
Hey, bro. It's very hard to talk on YouTube without breaking TOS. Glad you got to meet my friend Brick there. I've had to deal with that for 6-7 months now.
Just to let you know, I love Brick. I don't wish him any ill will, and I'm a little heated right now, but I vehemently disagree with what he just said.
I didn't get to what I was trying to say. I thought you were going to ask me what you asked him was what you had the right to protest and block streets and stuff.
Go ahead.
This is the way it works. Did the people in the hang gliders had the right to do what they did on the day in October 2 years ago when they've been occupied for 80 years or whatever it is, and they're starved? And did they have the right to do what they did? Because international law states that if you're an occupied nation, you're allowed to use any means necessary against your oppressors. So that comes into play with America too. Like, I don't mean to be a jerk to you, bro. Really like your stuff. I really like your videos. But the simple fact is, we're oppressed. We don't have rights. The only rights you have are those that you're willing to take and keep by violence. Force. And that's where we are in society now. So
10th man, we don't disagree. I am a slave talking to another slave. We are not in disagreement on that.
But your idea of, do protesters have the right to block the road? Yeah, because for almost 3 years we were locked down and everybody stayed in their houses like good little pets. So they don't have any rights anymore. You allowed the government to take your rights in 2020. Once that happened, it's over now. So all bets are off, Brian.
Brother, you're not talking to somebody who believes that they have rights.
Okay.
I think it's a misnomer to say that you have rights. Like I was telling Brick, I think it's more accurate to say that see, rights are, I mean, I know this is simplican language, but I'm a simple kind of person. Rights are opposite from wrongs. We know that it's right to help a little old lady across the street. We know it's right to pay what we owe our friends if we borrowed money. We know that that's right. Yep. The opposite of that is wrong. Is it right to block another person's freedom of movement? Are you saying are you making the argument that is right to do that?
Yes. Yes.
You are saying it is.
Yes. Yes.
So do you want
simple reason?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it happened to me. Sorry, I don't mean to raise my voice, but it happened to me for 2 years, over 2 years. Happened to a large majority of us across the world for over 2 years. So yeah, now I have the right to do whatever I want. None of you have rights anymore. You guys all don't just get to sit around and go, oh, you're infringing on my rights, when you guys did nothing during the pandemic. I did. I fought as hard as I could. I streamed as much as I possibly could. I went out. I caused a huge fuss. I contacted my government agents. I played some of it live. I know you did too. But you know what? If you were trying to drive through and I said, oh, look, there's Brian, and I was with the protesters, I'd be like, we got to let this guy through because he ain't one of them. But if you ain't got a little bit of clout out there in real life these days, and you didn't stand up against this, you don't have any rights. I'm just trying to raise my family. I don't care. Your family means nothing to me. When you imbeciles sat around and are continuing to sit around and do nothing. Well, we got the Epstein stuff going on. I'm tired of this back and forth. Oh, we might release something, we might not. January 6th was a false flag. And 99% of the world, if they actually did what we thought they were going there to do, would have been behind them 100%. Instead, we allowed those people that were like that grandmother that didn't do anything wrong to go through that whole thing. How come we weren't out there the same day she was arrested? Because you're all a bunch of cowards.
Okay,
maybe not you, Brian.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You're putting a lot of things on the table. Let's stay with one thing right here.
Yeah, 97% of the world's population are a bunch of cowards because they weeded out and institutionalized or jailed all the ones like you and I. We were just smart enough to keep our mouths shut to be able to stay on the outside. And we all sat around and let them do this crap. And then I'm supposed to care whether or not he can get his kid to the hospital because his arm got cut off? I don't really care anymore. And nobody does. Sorry, go ahead.
You're saying that you have a right to impinge or infringe on somebody's freedom of movement because something that happened to you by other people in the past.
Goddamn right. Because if you guys aren't going to stand,
and how do you determine? How do you determine? Wait. Hold on a second. How do you determine? How do you personally determine that the person whose rights you're infringing on didn't do a damn thing in that 2-year period? How do you determine that?
Don't care. They should be on our side out there protesting.
Then you're just as tired, filled with tyranny.
No, I'm meeting force with force, Brian.
No,
you think we're going to win this with hearts and minds?
You let them push you to the brink of irrationality. You're being absolutely
it's not
irrational. You're not being clear-headed at all, man. I disagree with you.
Why am I not being clear-headed?
Because first of all, you don't know who bowed down and submitted. You don't know.
Then they should be on our side out there protesting.
You don't know. You're saying that it's okay for the protesters to get in the street, and the protesters don't even know who they're blocking off. They could be blocking off the most righteous people who took the most strident stand against the garbage that happened during the Convid 1984 by George Orwell. They don't know, and you don't know.
So it's okay.
So what you're saying is no. Hold on a second. Wait. I did not cut in on you, and you had quite a long monologue. So what you're saying is, in complete ignorance of who you're blocking off and whose freedom to travel you're cutting off and infringing on, you're going to do it anyway because you were wronged by a whole bunch of psychopaths who went on with the Convid 1984 by George Orwell thing.
Yes, because all bets are off.
Then you're operating on ignorance.
Why?
Because
what is your resolution?
No, first of all, my observation before we get to my resolution is that you are cutting off people who don't even fit the criteria of why you're cutting them off, and you will never know it, and you don't care. You don't even care to learn who you're cutting off. You're just going to willy-nilly cut people off. And that's what cops do all the time. They don't care who your mother or who your father is. They don't care how much money you got in the bank. All they know is they're just going to follow orders. They've been given their marching orders. They've been programmed, just like you've allowed yourself to be programmed by the heinous things that happened from 2020 through 2023. And now,
because it happened in 2001 as well.
Well,
I've watched this almost 50 years old. I've watched this happen time and time again. I watched an illegal war in two countries, just like you talk about all the time, go on for 20 years. Did anybody do anything about it? No. Sat around, reaped the rewards.
You've lost your way. You've lost your way.
I've lost my way.
Yeah. Because you're willing to trample. You are admitting that you are willing to infringe on the freedom of movement of other human beings for reasons. And that ain't legitimate. Because if they did this because they did this to me and all those other people stood around and watched it happen to me, I reserve the right for myself to do it back to them. That is the epitome of tyranny, man. That's exactly where they want your mindset to be. Is Cop City still being built?
Is Cop City still being built?
In Atlanta?
It's not in the news anymore.
Are you talking about in Atlanta? I don't know. It could be quietly being built.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. So as much as I'm like your most avid supporter. I've barely ever spoken a bad word about you, right? But you're going to tell me I've lost my way.
I
when
demonstrated
I'm
how
not
you
telling
lost
you
your way.
you're doing anything wrong. No, that's your perception of it, right? Is
That you're willing to
I don't
infringe on,
believe. Go ahead. Sorry.
that you're willing to infringe on the freedom of movement of other people for reasons.
I don't believe you have that right any longer.
I didn't say rights. I said somebody's free.
All right, you don't have that freedom any longer.
Wait. Here, let me distill what you're saying here. You're saying I reserve for myself the right
Mhm.
to take away any other man's freedom of movement because something really negative happened to me in 2 decades for the last 2 decades, and everybody sat around and did nothing. Therefore, because of that, I have the right to infringe on anybody's freedom of movement. I can steal their stuff. I can abuse them. I can walk up behind them with a baseball bat and have my way because I don't care about your family.
Protest and block streets. No, we're not talking about all the rest of that stuff. Just protest and block streets.
Okay, I'm sorry, I went too far on that. But blocking their basic freedom of movement, you believe you can do that? Okay. Well, I disagree.
Tell me why.
Because you don't want somebody doing that to you. And the only reason you're doing that to somebody, else is because you just admitted the reason is because other people did that to me. Now I get to do that back to them. That's not.
But they did do that, and then the people who are now going out and doing their free movement stood behind those people and did nothing. That's what I'm talking about. Here I am, and here you are on the same side of the blue line, but you're attacking me and telling me I'm wrong, and not even willing to have a conversation about it. Anyway,
don't be thin-skinned about this. You know, I didn't attack you. This isn't an attack.
No. I know that there's probably other people waiting, and I don't want to have an argument with you.
Well, words have meaning. You said I attacked you. You know, I didn't attack you. Come on, that's not being honest. You're being disingenuous. Come on. I love you, man. I'm not attacking you.
No, because you're unwilling to see it from my side.
Well,
when I stretch my mind to try to see things from your side on a regular basis.
Well, I'm actually,
and just go, oh, okay. Well, I can kind of see it from his side. Can you see from my side at all?
No, I see I do see what you're saying. It's a maddening thing that everybody jumped on board. So then
what's your resolution instead of mine?
I think I'm with Ron Paul. I think when an idea is sound and it's just and it's right and it's timely, a standing army cannot stop that idea whose time has come. And I also believe that if I did to others what you're claiming we can do, restrict freedom of movement, and I wouldn't want that done to me, I feel like I would be a hypocrite. That's me. And I think it's wrong to do something to somebody else when you didn't like it done to you. I think you're that's vindictive.
Yes. Oh, very much so. Very much so. I am sickened that on a regular basis, I have to go, I'm starting to actually agree with the guy from World War II. Yes. And it's not me that put me in this position, because when I was a child, I thought that things were made of rainbows and kisses and hugs. And I got beaten and ostracized for almost 50 years, no matter how nice I was. I'm super nice to people, give them everything that they could want, take advantage, don't care, on and on and on and on. And in all seriousness, I think humanity deserves what's coming. All this George Orwell stuff. See, I know I'm smart enough. I can work behind the scenes, but I battled with myself for over 5 years. If they gave me a job making $40, $50 an hour to toss people into fire pits when they load them off of trains, would I do it? I am at the point now where I would do it. That's what I mean. You guys, all you freedom fighters, are losing people like me on a daily basis, because if you guys aren't willing to side with me and take it to the full extent it needs to, I might as well join up with them, because they're gonna.
I understand.
Do you understand that?
I understand why you're bitter.
I might as well join up with the empire and throw all you people into fire pits, because none of you accept me for who I am. At least I know with evil, if I just go along with what's going on, I can just keep my mouth shut, have my nice little house, do what I have to do. None of you people are ever going to stand up for me. None of you people stood up during the lockdowns. None of you people are going to stand up now. Nothing's going to happen with the Epstein stuff. Nothing. And as a victim of sexual child abuse, as a child by 3 different adults who've tried to do something about that numerous times with the police and the government and stuff like that throughout my life, and nothing ever happened, all you people are the same to me. You people have made me this way. I now agree with World War II leader guy. You guys did this, not me.
Okay,
I didn't do this. I had the best of hopes for all of you guys.
10th man, hold on one second. 10th man, I understand. I truly do understand why you feel how you feel.
No, I will join with evil rather than waste my time with imbeciles. That's the whole point.
I know. And historically speaking, and you have to understand this, that's why the masses join a Stalin or a Mussolini or a Hitler, because they become disillusioned and they actually see themselves as being so victimized that they're going to take their crack at being the victor for a change. That's what you're saying.
Sure.
All right, brother, I disagree with you.
That's whatever. How about I find more safety in the blanket of evil than a whole bunch of imbeciles going around crying to mommy and daddy that they want their rights back. How about that?
So you do admit that you are crossing over to the dark side, right?
I might as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, you admitted that by saying, right, you actually said that by saying I'm going to join the empire. So I disagree with you, 10th man.
I might as well. All right.
Hey, I am always. Let me tell you this before you go.
No, I'm still gonna watch your videos. I'm not mad at you.
No. I'm not mad at you either, and I'm not attacking you. I love the conversation. I totally disagree with it. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum, but I guarantee you, I will never impede your right to travel, no matter what, because I think injustice.
I get it, but when I dote at myself.
Is injustice against all men everywhere. And what you're saying is you're willing to take the acts of injustice and lay it at the feet of everyone because of what happened to you in the past.
Definitely. When I dote at myself after doing shows for 3 years of that, this is definitely a trick, I went and got poked, and I'm severely injured by it. And I don't see anybody out there caring about us because I dote at myself and went, you know what? Everybody's crazy. There's no way they would do that to us. And I did it because my work kind of coerced me into doing it. And since I came back to the internet earlier this year, after just barely getting back on my feet, or after almost 2 years, and I started coming and talking to people, and they go, well, no one forced you to do anything. You did that of your own free will. Enjoy your chains, because I'll be the one putting them on all of you. F all you. F all. You think that this is some kind of game that you're going to go, oh, nobody forced you to be. All right. All right.
Hey, I got you, brother.
Peace.
Hey, just be careful. That bitterness will eat you up. Rock E, what's up, man? Hey, hold on one second, Rock. Harmful content, come on board, man. I know you hate my guts. We've had good conversations in the past. Harmful content says that I'm a scumbag, and tell me why you think that. I don't have any problem. Oh, maybe you are aboard. No, I don't see him. All right, Rocky, what you got, man? How you doing?
Hi, I'm a fan.
No, you are not.
I like your videos.
Appreciate it, man. I like the shirt. Nobody needs an AR-15.
Nobody needs a whiny little bitch either, yet here you are.
Love it. So what you got, man? What you got? Add to this conversation.
Do you know 10th man? He's a whack job. They go on these panels and they just drama, like promotes.
It's all right, man. I'm in the corner of even people who I vehemently disagree with. So what's your part in this conversation?
I just got here. What's the conversation?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, let me move on from this because I want this to be flowing. But did you see my second to the last video?
Which one?
It's the one, Kentucky Chaos, where the Kentucky cops confronted the protesters. The protesters are in the road infringing on people's rights.
Oh.
A lot of people are unsubbing me because they're saying that I'm against protesting, which I am not against. You can protest if you want. You just don't have the right to infringe on somebody's rights while you protest.
Yeah, you don't have the right to infringe on someone's rights just because you're protesting. Protesters are basically herd mentality. They go along with the herd. You never I don't believe in, I mean, protesting is individual. I don't think you should, join a herd and break the law just to protest. I mean,
Yeah.
eh,
Well,
it's
it's not
kind
even
of,
so much. It's not even so much breaking the law. It's just doing to others what you wouldn't want done to you. Because if you're, let's say you're in the car going to the grocery store, going to school, or clocking into work, or just whatever you're on the road for, you don't have the right to block off another man's freedom of movement. That's my take on it.
yeah, I agree with you on that.
And at the same time, in this video, I'm also not okay with the Kentucky police, the Covington police, abusing a whole bunch of protesters. I don't care if they're left, right, center. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, they're both like committing crimes.
Yep. All right, brother. Hey, I'm going to move on to the next one. Thank you, Rocky.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care. No name coder. You're next on the list here.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for having me on. So I actually probably agree with you a lot more than I disagree with you.
Are you harmful content?
I am not.
Oh, okay.
So I've been around the community for a little bit. I'm actually working on some AI tech that involves police accountability, but that's all aside the point, right? Like, that's a whole other conversation. You can stop by and check out my channel if you want.
Give me the channel right now. I'll put it up on the screen.
No name coder.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead. Say what you got to say, and I'll bring that up.
So, bro, I just think that, like, if it's to the point where people feel that with all of the gerrymandering and the inability for their representation to actually be effective, and their vote doesn't really matter, and they can't really affect change, there's nothing they can really do about, like, the situation that they find themselves in, or their I guess their perspective, like where they think they're at. It's, I can't see it from their point of view. I don't really know. But like, I think that if it's to the point where you don't really have the ability to use your voice, and it comes to civil disobedience, I think impeding because I don't think the point is to impede the people's rights to travel. I think honestly the point is to impede the government's ability to conduct commerce on public roads, and to impede commerce, because that's where you really hit these guys, is in the pocketbook.
And what and give me some ways that people can impede commerce.
Well, there are a lot of ways you could impede commerce. Boycotting is a peaceful way. Spending your money where it matters. Trying to take yourself away from the giant conglomerates that are corporate America, that own everything. Bringing yourself away from the corporate food chain and growing a little bit of your own food. Just trying to take yourself out of the modern society that we live in, and it's not easy. But like,
I mean, do you get why the protesters were outraged?
I don't. I all I saw was your video and what the police were doing. I didn't look any more into the story before I made my comment. I just heard what you said, and it just made me think, like, if people aren't free to impede the government with any non-violent methods that they can, and the government's free to use any violent methods that they feel like they can invent, to inflict their will on the people. If we don't allow the people all the non-violent means that we can, then we're stripping people of some of the little power that they have.
Yeah. And it exacerbates the problem by impeding on somebody's rights while you're actually out there demonstrating against somebody who got their rights taken away, which was the whole reason for the protest. There was some guy that worked in a local hospital as a like a counselor or something like that, and he was of Palestinian descent, and ICE took him away. And I understand people being upset about that, because I don't want ICE taking people away unless they're actual criminals committing actual crimes.
Right. If they, and I even understand the argument that if they've entered the country illegally, that's a crime. Like, I don't really necessarily agree with it.
It's illegal. I wouldn't call it a crime, because
I don't really agree with it, but I understand the argument.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Like, it's not my side of the argument at all, but I understand it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I understand how some people can believe that. And I understand why some people would be very upset and even to the point where they would take to the streets, because it's been something that's been, so publicized on the news and so shoved in their face. And
Mhm.
so, like they're, I think, intentionally being riled up sometimes by the media and then by the police officers and other people in the crowds. Like, and I do believe that there is some kind of that herd mentality, you know? I really do believe that if we can't use all of the non-violent tools we can find, that then we're really messed up. Like, you're looking at the permanent record. So it's a facial recognition database of cops. And it's a bit more than that. There's a
You talking
lot.
about
There's a lot to it.
you talking about this video right here?
I mean, the video was about how what I found out. And so I was just sitting at home watching a video one day, and I heard a cop tell an auditor, like, it doesn't matter if you won't show me your ID. We have facial recognition. I'll know who
Yeah.
you are. And, in no time. And I was like, man, why can't we do that to them?
Right.
And that led me down the road of why, we can do that to them. Why isn't somebody? And I couldn't find any good reason not to. I contacted an attorney. I did my due diligence, and here we go. Um, there's a bit to it. It's pretty in depth.
Well, maybe I'll tell you what, we're kind of getting off in the weeds, but I would like to have maybe a dedicated live stream to it. What I'll do is, do you suggest that I look at your most popular video right here and just kind of start from there?
If you want to, that's just me at city council. I was giving them a little trash talking about the flock camera system.
Okay. I will take a look at it, man. I'm going to move on because I want to give people a chance, and there's a lot of people in the room.
Hell yeah. And I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you for having me up here, man.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
Yep. You too.
Donovan, you're on.
Hello. Listen, I believe that if you're going to protest, do it the right way. Simple. That means if you're going to walk on the roadway, at least there's a proper thing for everything. To get the permit. I'm not sure they had a permit or not. But the thing is,
get a permit to protest?
I mean, if you're going to get on the road.
Well, there should never be a permit granted to get out on the road and block the road off. See, I'm against the protesters blocking roads off, just like I am against the police blocking roads off. A cop will block a road off for a freaking seatbelt ticket. So basically what they're willing to do is violate other people's rights so that they can initiate and enforce their own laws. That's the same mentality that these protesters have. Do you disagree with that?
Well, obviously express my general understanding of why certain city department, city halls have permits. If you're going to get on a road, get a permit. I'm still new in the government process in how it works in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we need to detach from all of that because nobody should be in a position where they can grant permission because somebody paid them a sum of money to take away somebody else's rights, which is what a fishing permit is. It's what a hunting permit is. It's like, you can't do this unless you pay me $10 a year for a fishing license or whatever. So it's crazy to me, the mentality that we've all sunk into. And the reason we have the tyranny, the level of tyranny and the exponential increase of tyranny that we have right now is because people actually believe that the people who are in control are in legitimate control, and that there's nothing could be further from the truth.
Right. So I may be wrong.
Let me ask you a question. What is your understanding of people in government? What is your understanding of the idea or the concept of government? How does that flesh itself out?
To be just and fair. But the thing is, we're far from that because of how people in society operate government. We are being too I'm new. All right. I'm new. I'm a First Amendment auditor. I'm new to this.
Do you have a channel?
Yes, Donna Mitchell.
Have you done any audits?
A accident. So I feel like the police were wrong too. Potential use of excessive use of force, and when that I saw you, narrating the or reacting to that Kentucky protest, you did pretty good. I'm probably been new, not understanding everything, but they were wrong for excessive use of force on that guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
But he was on the sidewalk. He was on the sidewalk.
Well, he was previous to that. He was not on the sidewalk. He charged a cop and he destroyed his pepper ball gun. And I mean, I have that in the video. It's just not in sequence.
Right.
And I'm not. And by saying that, I'm not saying that I agree with what the cop did to him, because they had him on the ground and they were punching him from behind while 3 other cops were on his back. So that's just evil, in my opinion.
Yeah. True.
But hey, man, I am going to move on because I got tons of people in the chat here.
Do your work. Hey, do your best. I support you, brother.
All right, man. Thanks, Donovan. We the people, you're up, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Brian?
If it ain't Patriot News, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's this is a good topic to be on with the stuff that's happened here lately. I think it's my mind is completely blown, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I am surprised, and I'm actually very offended at the fact that the governor, I was peacefully protesting, and I had a reason to do it.
Hey, I got it. Let me stop you right there. I've got your website pulled up, but I really want to stay in this video, this live stream. I want to stay on the topic of protesters infringing on the rights of other people, because there's a lot of people who think that it's okay for protesters to infringe on the right as long as their protest is something that's righteous.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that it's one thing to you shouldn't violate somebody else's rights just because it's your right to do it. I was watching the guy you had on earlier. I can't remember what the 10th, whatever it was.
10th man.
And I gotta say, it's everything that has happened. I can kind of see where he's coming from. Don't agree with it, but I can say that it's I've had.
Where do you think he's coming from?
Well, I didn't catch the beginning of it, so I came in about halfway. I don't know exactly when I came in on that conversation. So I don't know exactly where that conversation started to actually truly, give some good feedback there. I can speak from my own perspective as far as if dealing with just the insane amount of corruption that's happened, and people just not giving a fuck and just wanting to, finally I've gotten to the point where I just, as soon as trolls get on there and they start up their mess, I go to block them immediately. Like I used to let them stay on there. Hey, it's their First Amendment right. Now, it's my channel is basically my private property. Okay. It's just like a private business owner has the right to trespass somebody off of their property. The First Amendment, constitutional rights, that's a hard line on the government on what not to cross.
Actually, you know what? Actually, hold on a second. That you brought up a point. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I would have forgotten, because I feel like just like cops conflate the vast difference between private and public property, I think because people are so ingrained in left versus right terminology and programming and the paradigm, They see immigration as an invasion of your own home, when that is merely crossing a government imposed border, whether it's on the Mexico side or the American side or the Canadian side or whatever side. And they view coming across that imaginary border as tantamount to breaking into your house. And I think as long as we have that fundamental misunderstanding of what private and public is, I don't think we're going to arrive at any kind of workable conclusion. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean the as far as rights, that are governed under the Constitution, there's a big difference in private property and public property. Like stuff that the government basically has the right. The government doesn't have the right on private property. They're not, basically the Constitution was written not to govern the people themselves, but to govern the government.
Yeah, but see, the problem is that's another thing is people become constitutionalists, and the Constitution is a document of tyranny.
Right.
If you say that a group of men have the power to lay and collect taxes, what you're saying is somebody has determined, apart from you, that it's okay to steal, they appropriate a percentage of your income, and theft is always wrong, whether it's done by you and me, or done by men with funny hats and uniforms and funny titles. So what people need to understand about the concept of government is not a person. It's not even a thing. And in actuality, government doesn't even exist, because if I don't have the right to govern or control you, and you don't have the right to govern or control me without our consent, then we're talking about something as fictitious as the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and the Tooth Fairy. You know what I mean? So if and just getting back to the root of this country's government, it's supposed to only be to protect life, liberty, and happiness, and they don't even do that at all. They do the exact opposite.
I mean, prime example. Look at the two. You got two different systems of laws. You got, it's what's that? What's the saying? How does the saying go? Rules for
rules for thee and not for me.
Yeah, I mean that's really it's. And I talked about this before. You look at a arrest, okay, when somebody is actually arrested, and I'm sorry if I'm getting a little bit off the topic here, but this is something that it's really important to me. If somebody's arrested, we are supposed to be governed under the presumption of innocence, innocent until proven guilty, okay? But if you actually look at the federal definition of kidnapping, and that's to unlawfully seize, confine, to basically what an arrest is, and then imposing a ransom. Okay, if we're actually living under the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, okay, and this is where it's actually self-defeating of itself. Innocence until proven guilty, it would be kidnapping under the federal definition of kidnapping, to make an arrest and to make somebody pay a bond to get out of jail. That is a ransom. You pay this or you don't get your freedom. And if we were to do the same thing to accuse the government of something, and to seize them, to take them under arrest, and make them pay a bond to get out, to get their freedom, that would be kidnapping any day of the week. It's there's so many different examples on a daily basis of where the laws are applied one way to basically to the citizens, but they're not equally applied to everybody. It's
So basically, to get back on topic, you are against a protester exercising his rights that infringe on the free right to travel by blocking off a road, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because people have the right to, because that's a right there in itself. You can't block somebody else's right just to say that you're exercising a right yourself, because then you're ultimately, that's the definition of a tyrant right there in itself.
And we are talking to Patriot News Activism. Man, I appreciate you weighing in. I'm going to move on because I got a lot of people in the room.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate it, Brian.
All right, take care. Now, before I go to the next one, harmful content. Harmful content loves me, of course. It's endearing when he calls me a scumbag, and I love it and appreciate it. Love him like a brother. Apparently, he's hated me for a long time. I try to have, reasonable conversations with him, but he doesn't like me too well. So I'm inviting you. This is a personal invite, harmful content, who was also called Mr. Uncensored, and he has been censored a lot by YouTube. High Impact Flicks lies and misleads his audience again. So you can see he's covered me quite a bit. So I'm giving him a shout out and hoping that he will engage in an honest, genuine discussion. That's for harmful content. What's up, Steve? How you doing, man? Okay, so now we're at 7:37. What's up, man?
How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you doing? What do you have to add to this conversation?
Really, a lot of people said some stuff that I was thinking, but the big problem is, man, people just want to see people in cages, and that's the problem, man. People always wanting to call the law on people, and my whole thing about blocking for protest, man, I mean, ain't no way to really get anything moving. But if they would point that towards like government, I have no problem with it, and it's just not government. It's the lawyers, the judges, all the way up, man.
I agree with you. And I think really it boils down to, if I was sitting in traffic and had to get somewhere, I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me. And therefore, because I wouldn't want that, I would be a hypocrite to go out on a limb and do that to somebody else. It just seems really simple.
That's right. That's right. I also have something else to throw in. A lot of people ain't going to like hearing this. You see a lot of people having the black and white American flag.
The thin blue line flag?
Just not that one, but all of them. Any black and white flag. The black and white American flag has long been the satanic American flag. Long before the military made it cool for deployment. It is a deployment flag, a death flag. It is now the corruption flag. Any corrupt part of government has that flag on it. It's the human trafficking flag. A lot of people ain't gonna like that, but that's what it is.
All right, brother. Hey, thanks for adding your 2 cents.
All right, bud. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. We have Joseph. What's up, Joseph?
What's up, man? So,
How you doing?
I believe in freedom to travel, which I know a lot of people ain't gonna like, but I do it.
Why do you think people won't like that?
Oh, I get in arguments with people all the time on Facebook about it, and they try to get upset at me, but nothing could upset me. That stuff ain't gonna upset me. Only when you violate my rights is when I get upset.
I have never heard anybody object to just broad brush, just object to a person's freedom to travel.
Oh yeah, because I don't have no license plate, no insurance.
I got you. Okay. Gotcha. They believe you should be registered and restricted and licensed and probed and prodded. Yeah, I got it. I got you.
Yeah, and I don't believe in that, so I don't do that because I'm not engaged in commerce, which people get that and driving confusing, because commerce, you have to be like a truck driver and stuff like that.
Taxi cab driver,
I'm
UPS
not making
driver.
money for my vehicle, so I'm just being a traveler.
Well, that's not the scope of this video right here. We're really talking about the video where people are unsubscribing to me because I dealt with protest. Did you watch the video? Protesters and police clash in Kentucky?
No, I watched some of them, but probably not that one. But I don't believe people should stand in the road because I would run them over.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. And I agree with you. People don't have the right to impinge or infringe on somebody else's freedom to travel. But what I might do is get with power inherent in the people. You know who I'm talking about?
Watch him. I'm subscribed to him.
Yeah, and what I might do is do a dedicated live stream to that. It intrigues me. It's fascinating. I definitely want to talk about the wins. And you've had experiences with law enforcement. They pulled you over for not having a license plate, right?
I haven't got stopped yet.
How long have you been doing it?
Oh, like a year.
Oh, wow. And do you travel frequently?
Yeah, I just actually went to 19 states.
So you've been on the road a lot and nobody's messed with you yet?
No.
But if they do mess with you, are you ready to record?
Oh yeah, I got a body camera.
Okay, you got to record everything, man. More cameras, the better, too.
But I will take a step farther and willing to say that I would die on the side of the road before I let anybody violate my rights.
Give me liberty or give me death. I think we should all. Yeah, I think we should
Because
all.
I don't believe in trampling on anybody's rights, and a traffic stop tramples on more than just one right. Because the first thing they ask you for is ID, and if you don't give it to them, they act like crackheads.
Yep. I agree, Joseph. I'll try to get that going with Power Inherent the People. Cameron's good. He's a good guy.
All right, yeah, just remember my name.
All right, Joseph. Take care.
And I'm a huge fan of you.
Hey, thank you, Joseph.
Yep.
All right, we're here with Matt Murdoch. What's up, Matt?
Hey,
Matt?
what's up, Ryan?
Oh, there you are. How's it going?
All right, man. How you doing?
Better than I deserve, I think.
Right on, dude. I think we have a lot of points of agreement. I think I heard you say to a couple guys back that the government doesn't exist. I agree with that. I think rights don't exist. I think we agree there. What's weird, like the whole injustice to one is injustice to all. I think that presupposes justice. I don't think justice exists either.
How do you define it?
I guess a fairness, right?
Oh,
Or
Go ahead.
people deserving what they deserve some kind of equal treatment.
Okay. And you don't believe that exists?
No, I think these are all just concepts, right? They're just ideas that people have.
I mean, do you think that you should, like, let me give you an example. If you were really hungry and you were at work and you borrowed $5 from, or $10 because things have gone up, $15, you need $15 for lunch and you get it from your friend and you say, I promise I'll pay you back tomorrow when I get my paycheck. And then you pay him back. You consider that's just, right? Because you said you would and you're obligated to him. Isn't that a just thing?
Yeah, no, I think the words exist, right? Like we can describe that as being fair. If I
No,
and we have
I know.
preferences. Yeah.
Well, let me frame it this way. We know that words exist, but words also have meaning. Like the government means that a person or a group of people has the right to control another person without their consent, and they have to obey, because if these people don't obey, and by the way, they're obligated to obey, and if they don't do that, then they should be punished. That is a fiction. Nobody has that.
Right.
If you have that power, then I have that power, and if we all have that power and we're all governing, the world's not going to bear up under that foolishness. So
Yeah, I agree.
But we do know that justice exists because you paying back what you said you owed that guy, because you truly owed him. That is justice. That does exist. So you say
I don't think
justice.
so. And I think we're in the same. I think they're in the same category, right? That's just our ways. The words that we use are an attempt of describing reality. So, like, can you touch justice? Can you perceive justice, or is it something that we use to describe something that approximates what we make up to think about justice? Yeah,
I just described justice, and the opposite would be somebody coming up to you at a bus stop and hitting you in the back of the head with a baseball bat. That is clearly unjust. It's not. He did to you what he would definitely wouldn't want done to him. So we know we can demonstrate justice and injustice.
Is it just for the gazelle to be eaten by the lion?
Well, you're talking about the animal kingdom. I think there's a vast difference between the humankind and the animal kingdom.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I agree that there are separations of like a capacity to reason.
Yeah. Now I could be wrong on this. Are you vegan? Are you vegan? Okay. Yeah. So this is like a vegan argument, which should be a topic for another video, because this video I just wanted to focus in on, and I'm not shying away from this because I can totally be corrected on this. You know, I leave myself open to this kind of stuff. I haven't really looked into it. I've seen the arguments, but I didn't want to go. Yeah, I'm not going into like equal, like, fair treatment of animals. I think I was trying to keep it on topic. Like when I think of the law enforcement officer, like I don't consider them
in the same terms of a human, right? They're not acting as a human. They're taking on a role. They're acting in that role. They're acting. It's an act because government doesn't exist, right? They are representing this idea of the state, right? The state is nowhere to present, so they are representing their God government, and so they're uh, dehumanizing themselves and acting just as a predator, just like a lion,
Yeah.
right? So is that just like I don't think in terms of justice when I think in terms of predators, right? Like that's a mismatch of ideas, right?
Yeah. And what
Yeah.
makes it more convoluted is the predators claim to be your protectors as they're preying upon you.
Yeah. But going back to the protesters, then like likewise, they are using the same. Well, I mean, they're preying on anybody they can, right, to try to be heard. They're just not using the same level of force that the other predators are using, right? It's the fallacious reasoning there. If you want to look it up, it's the tu quo que logical fallacy. Tu QUO and then QUE, the tu quo que logical fallacy. The 10th man was all over that, but that's exactly what the protesters are doing. They're saying, "Oh, you guys, is it bad that you guys are doing this?" And then we're gonna do the same thing. It's a
Yeah.
yeah. It just breaks logic. It's irrational behavior. You called him out on it like that. No, yeah, you're acting irrationally. Like, you are not
Well-
acting logically.
Well, in your fight against monsters, was it Nietzsche who said in your fight against monsters, make sure you don't become one? And I fear that he's succumbed to that and has become the monster who's victimized him somewhere along the line. And I don't think that's the way to go.
Right. Yeah. But and in the borders argument, when you brought up the false equivalency fallacy that the state actors like to throw out. Well, would you like them to come into your house? Like, my house is not the same thing as this imaginary line that you guys have made up. Like, that's again not logical. It's a logical fallacy, i.e., irrational thinking that they just force feed the masses. And so that
Well, yeah, and that's why I started off the live stream with the question, do you trust government? And if you
Right.
do trust government, to what measure, to what level do you just trust government? Because if you're saying we should have borders, then you're saying the government should enforce those borders, because that's what borders are. They're enforced by quote unquote governments. So what you're saying is it's okay for that government to steal from the people, to waste the money, because they will. That's just what governments do, and to hire people that they don't need to hire, and then inflict and enforce violence on people who just want to cross an imaginary line, which isn't a crime. You haven't created a victim by crossing the border. Now, what governments do is they facilitate immigration, and they say, we're going to give you a free Obama phone, free meals, we're going to put you up at these hotels. And now we get this influx of people that may be unwanted in these neighborhoods. But one of the reasons they came is because they were invited by the very government who's claiming to steal from you to keep them out.
Yeah, I would agree with everything you said, except I wouldn't use the term government. I would supplement that with the state actor or the government actor, because
Yeah, that's why
I don't want to give any I don't want to give any credence to the notion that government exists. Like,
yeah,
I want
don't
to
know
put it on the people that are acting in the name of government.
Yeah, I don't know if you were looking at the screen when I did it in quotes. I just did that because that's the word everybody knows.
Yeah, no,
But
you're good.
But hey, man, I got a lot of people waiting in line. I got to move on. I appreciate you.
Yep. Likewise, man. Keep up the work, buddy.
Hey, thank you. Before we get to the next one, which is Mexican free, Officer Tater Hater says the worst bootlickers are cops' wives. These Karens get most butt hurt and the quickest. I do believe people are waking up, though. I'm starting to see more restaurants and stores banning police. Holy cow. I don't know of any store that bans police. Tell me, give me some proof of that, Officer Tater. Not that I don't believe you, but I want to see it. All right, Mexican, what's up, man? You're up.
Hell yeah. Good evening.
Hey. How you doing? What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? I have to agree with my buddy James Freeman that Brian, you sir, is 100% a bootlicker. I have to agree with James. After watching the documentary he did about you,
Yep.
I have to agree with my buddy James. You know what I mean?
He's got me. He's got me dead to rights, man. I am a freaking bootlicker. I hate myself for it too.
I'm sorry for calling you out on your panel. I apologize, but I have to agree with James. I've done work with James in the past and in current. And watching that documentary he did, I was all like, I thought Brian was the other way. I thought he didn't like cops. And then watching that, man, I was just like, he did me dirty.
He totally exposed me, and now you're calling me out. You know, I knew the day would come. I didn't think it would happen on a live stream, but here we are.
I'm sorry for calling you out. You know.
Damn you, Mexican. Damn you.
I apologize. Back to your subject of your live tonight. There is pros and cons regarding protests, people infringing in other people's rights. I agree that certain people shouldn't do that. People should express freely. They should be peaceful to assemble, but not to step over each other. I don't think that's right. As an immigrant myself, my mother crossed the border when I was young to get us over here. I became a U.S. citizen at the age of 13. I did come illegal, but we did everything through the proper channels, became a U.S. citizen at the age of 13, have a criminal record since the age of 14, been in juvie a couple of times.
Wait, what do you mean by criminal record? Did you really harm somebody or steal their stuff?
I didn't harm anyone. I just did a lot of bad stuff my younger years.
Because I've changed my mind on that. If I hear somebody did, you know, a long stint in jail or they've been in jail or whatever, I have to ask questions, because there's a lot of people sitting in jail right now that didn't victimize anybody, didn't steal anybody's stuff, didn't harm them in any way. They just broke the laws of politicians. And I don't view that as a crime or being a criminal.
Yeah, I just transported narcotics.
I don't view that as a crime.
Yeah, that's what my criminal history is.
I mean, you didn't make somebody buy them, right? You didn't force them down somebody's throat that didn't want them, right?
Correct. No, I did not do any of
the whole drug war since the 1970s. We need to end that. It's been a long time, 50 something years. It's been costly. It's failed. It's led in countless deaths, people in prison for no freaking reason. I mean, I can't even conceive of sitting in jail for 3 or 4 years, let alone 30 days for possession of plant matter. It's just lunacy to me.
I agree with you 100%. I'm sorry, I can't agree because James Freeman might be watching.
I know, and we got to lick James's boots. We have to.
Wink, 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 wink.
All right, Mexican. Hey, I'm going to move on. I got a couple more people, and then I got to get out of here.
Hey, I just want to say thank you, bro. I appreciate your channel, brother, man. Continue doing the good work. Just don't let James know. Have a good evening.
All right, take care. Bye. All right, Willis, you're up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what you talking about, Willis?
Well, I just had a short reading to share from the Tao Te Ching. I think it might sum things up. The Tao Te Ching.
I don't know what that is.
Ancient Chinese writing. Real short about justice.
Okay.
It's called number 57. Rule a nation with justice, wage war with surprise moves. Become master of the universe without striving. How do I know that this is so? Because of this. The more laws and restrictions there are, the poorer people become. The sharper men's weapons, the more trouble in the land. The more ingenious and clever men are, the more strange things happen. The more rules and regulations, the more thieves and robbers. Therefore, the sage says, I take no action, and people are reformed. I enjoy peace, and people become honest. I do nothing, and people become rich. I have no desires, and people return to the good and simple life. I just wanted to share that because it kind of maybe sums up a little bit of some things that were talked about. And
it almost sounds like Tacitus. The more corrupt the state, the more numerous the laws.
Oh, he probably did borrow from, this is ancient Chinese writing. So
yeah, that was good, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right, brother. Take care.
You too.
Admiral James T. Kirk. What's up, man?
What's up, my brother? How you doing? Can you hear me?
James T. Kirk don't own no shirt.
Yeah, there you go. And he don't dance either. How you
up,
doing,
man?
Brian? How
What's
you
on your
doing?
mind? Good. I'm doing good. No complaints.
Getting back to the dude with the witchcraft thing. I don't know if you saw it in the comments or not.
I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, Brian, I'm gonna tell you something, dude. Heed a warning. These guys like him, they're known to dox people, okay? I had it happen to me on my podcast. Okay. You have to be very, very careful. I can't mention names, okay? But it happened to a very, very close person of mine. And they came and got him. True story.
How do you take care not to be doxxed, though? Because if you're going to be doxxed, I can't really do anything about that.
I know that's the problem. That's the whole thing. It's going to happen when you least expect it. I didn't expect it. But Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. I never had trouble with cops ever a day in my life. Never once. But I can tell you what I can think, in my personal opinion, where it's heading at. A police state. It's not just happening here in the United States, man. It's happening in the United Kingdom as well. Look at Australia, London, you name it. They're turning against their own, dude. This stuff just doesn't happen just for no reason. It doesn't. I've known about this kind of stuff. I'm 62 years old, man. And I don't vote because I know what goes in that office. Presidents are selected, not elected. Okay? As far as government, do you want to trust your government? No, I wouldn't think anybody could. Not what we're seeing, like what we're seeing now in the news. I don't think we could. The very own people that we were supposed to have entrusted are turning against their own.
Yeah, let me stand. Look, I got to stay on topic with this live stream, though. Do you agree that it's okay for people who are protesting and using their rights to protest?
Yes, I think people should.
No,
yes,
wait.
I think you should.
Wait. To step in the road and limit somebody else's freedom to travel.
No,
okay.
I think as far as the protest in the middle of the street, no, that's not protesting. That's being a pain in the butt. Protesting would help, but I don't think it's going to do what people might think it's going to do. You can get out there with your picket signs and do all you want and raise your voice. You can go out there with a bullhorn. That's not going to change what these people got intentions to do. It's not going to change anything.
It's not going to change the trajectory of Peter Thiel and Palantir and the all the surveillance apparatus.
Yes, it ain't going to change a thing, dude. I mean, nothing about a protest I can see really is going to do to change anything, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, when we see that cops are doing what they're doing, and then we look at our own government, this stuff just doesn't happen for no reason. There's a purpose behind it. Are you a firm believer that there could be a possibility of a new world order? Do you believe in that?
I think we're in it.
Okay.
And I think it's I think it's going to overtake us at an exponential rate with the way AI is progressing.
I would agree with that. Yes, I do. And I'll just be honest with you, Brian. I mean,
now what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
What do you mean, being honest?
Yeah, like why do people say that? I want to be honest with you. Like I'm assuming that you're being honest with me.
I'm being honest as best as I can say without giving out names and things and stuff like that. I want to be honest with you. Nothing in this world I would like to see is nothing better than peace. I would love to be where we can all get along. We can trust the very people that we have supposed to trust it for since day one. And these politicians, and to me, they're in the pockets of the corporates, the bankers, the elites. They're being basically script. They're just following a script. The left, the right, it doesn't matter. They're all on the same page. It doesn't matter.
Except Trump is going to save us.
You think so?
I'm joking.
Of course, I know you are, dude.
All right, brother. Hey,
No.
I got a bunch of people, and I got to head out of here, so I want to give them a chance. I appreciate you, James.
Well,
D.
look here. The next time you do this, I hope I get a notification because I do like speaking to you, man. I'm glad I finally got the chance to actually meet you one on one.
Hey, thanks, James.
Yeah, man. Take it easy, dude.
All right. See you later. Dominic, real quick. I'm going to give you like 60 seconds. Lay it on me. Dominic, you're muted.
Can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah, there you are. How's it going, man?
Good. Hey, I heard before, like the problem that people have, and by the way, I don't agree with people blocking the streets. I think
Okay,
that's so
yeah.
counterproductive to what
Yeah.
they're trying to, they're getting people to hate them rather than like their protest. I mean,
Mhm.
but in any event, what I listened to that one guy saying that, well, you didn't do nothing and we don't do nothing, we just talk. But the thing is, to do something, you got to be ready to go out and put your feet on the street and go out and change educate people. Okay. Like those protests aren't going to do it. But what we need is people to go out to like union meetings, trying to get some union members involved and put the union leaders on the spot. I used to be president of a Teamsters union. So
Did you see corruption though? Because
oh
when
my
I think
God,
when I think of
it's-
Teamsters, I automatically think of
Yeah.
corruption.
it was very corrupt. In fact, I'm 76 years old, so I was with the reform movement that actually got the right for the members to vote for the president. It used to be we didn't vote for the president. It was done by delegates that were, some of them were appointed by the guys that were voting for, so we got that changed. But the way you do that, is you got to be willing to go out and stand up at a meeting and put some facts on the ground. But before you do that, the way I used to do it, and I'd be willing to do it today too, because I think there's a party now. It's called the Anti-Zionist America Party. I saw it on Twitter. Actually, I made a video of it. I'll send it to you. But
Oh, do you have a YouTube channel?
yeah, yep.
What is it? I'll pull it up while you're talking.
Dominic Buscemi.
Wait a minute. What's up, Dominic? I know who you are. What's up, man? I didn't see your last name on the thing right there.
Oh, I didn't put it on there. Yeah. No, but I've been around.
Spell your last name.
Buscemi.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So, but the way you do it, you go out, and I've done it to meetings here, and you have to get ready for people to like start shouting out at you. So, but wait, you start slow, you go out, you get to a meeting. Before you go into the meeting, you hand out a pamphlet of what you're going to talk about. Now, a lot of times the people that you're trying to educate aren't going to like you. So you got to be persistent. And finally you'll get one or two more other people that'll say, hey, wait a minute, that's true. And that's how it starts out. And I eventually became president of the local for 6 years. And when I became president, and it was corrupt, the other guy bankrupted it. I mean, he went in there, he had his son in as an organizer. They were making like, this is back in the 60s or the 90s and 2000s, $1,100 a week. The people that we were representing were making like $10 an hour, So you have to get those people who, well, let me go back up. When we went in, what we did, we lowered our salaries to each $1,000 a week. I was driving a truck. I was actually making more than that a week at my job. But we lowered that. Everybody made $1,000 a week. We took the extra money. We bought a mobile home and got it all decaled up with the Teamster local, and we put it in parades. And we wanted to put out a positive image, okay? And I was thrown out of union meeting down in Joint Council 53 in Philadelphia when I said that we shouldn't have 3 pensions when the members some of them don't even have one, and oh man, that caused a commotion. But in any event, let's get with today. What they got to do today is start going to meetings, start educating themselves so that they can talk confidently in a bar or a coffee house or anywhere in the street with somebody about just a certain issue. Like say the money we're giving to Israel, okay? that alone, and the way you would do it at a union meeting, that's money that these people are stealing from us. You're letting these people steal our members' money, and send it to another country. How is that? How can you justify that? That's where you start getting people on your side, and that's where you start building your movement, because yourself, it's not just one person. The more people that come in, the more people that generate new ideas, and next thing you know, you got something rolling. But the guys that come on and they want to yell about, oh yeah, I did this, I did that. Yeah, you did it. Didn't work. Now you got to do something else. It just doesn't. It's not a one-time thing. You don't win by stopping when you get hit the first wall. So I think that's what we have to focus on. I'd appreciate it if you take a look at that video. The guy that did it, he's an author. He's on Twitter.
You talking about the anti-Zionist American Party video?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, man. I'll take a look at it. I've got 2 more people to get to, and I got to run.
Great talking to you, Brian.
Thanks, Dominic. I appreciate your time.
Take care, brother.
Wild Bill, you're next on the roster. What's up, man?
Not much, but yeah, they shouldn't be in the road like that, because I would have went right over them, like the other kid said. They should be
Now,
going
when the rubber meets the road, would you really have run over him?
I mean, if they're all out there blocking like that, yeah, why wouldn't they? They're the ones that are doing wrong, right? They should.
Yeah, and I'm not giving them any grace, but I'm thinking of myself behind the wheel and seeing this line of people, and yeah, I don't want to be infringed on, but for some reason, my mind, I can't see myself running over somebody. You know what I mean? But I know what you're saying.
I have children in the car with me, so you got to think about that also.
Yeah. Shield your eyes, kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm turning.
Especially that lady banging on the window.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
So
no, I mean, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, right? If you're going to stand in the road, expect to be hit. I don't know what happened to you. I don't know what happened. I was standing in the road, and for some reason, somebody decided to run me over. Come on, give me a break.
And they're taking it out on the wrong people. It's not those people in the car that they're upset with.
Yeah.
So why aren't they in front of the ICE building? Why aren't they tracking those guys down?
Right.
Why didn't they run up, and help their fellow protester when those cops were wailing away on them?
Yeah.
They didn't do any of that. They all scattered.
Dude, that is a good point. That for some reason that escaped me. If they're really that incensed about ICE and law enforcement and order followers, they would have stepped in to help that guy and woman. That's a good point, man. That is a good point.
Yeah, that's the first thing I saw. I mean, as soon as they came out there, they all spread out onto the sidewalk. So obviously, they really weren't that, in my eyes, they really weren't that serious about their cause. You know what I mean? And they shouldn't have been on the bridge anyway. They should have went and found these places where they're taking these people, or where they took this guy, and they should have posted out in front of that place with their signs and everything like that in front of there, not on some bridge that's probably 40 or 50 miles away from where they're holding the guy.
No argument, man. No argument. I'm going to move on to the next one. Then I got to go. Thanks, Wild Bill. All right, Shamil, you know the rules, man. You know the rules. Nicole, you said, can you be my last caller? Yeah, go ahead and call. The link is right there, and I'll take Nicole last, but Shamil, you got the floor.
What's up, keyboard warriors? What's going on?
Now, let me just say this, because I feel like I have to get in your corner like Mickey from Rock. Come on, you can do it, Rock. And guys, Shamil is on your side. He's the master of sarcasm. So when he says, come on, keyboard warriors, we need to lick boots, he's not being serious. So go ahead.
What's up, fellow bootlickers?
Go ahead.
Brian, you know what? We're not going to change jack shit, man. Sometimes I record in public and some random cocksucker will come up to me and tell me, why am I harassing cops who are doing their jobs? I'm literally just recording the cops from the sidewalk.
I know.
And some random person will come up to me and will tell me, you have nothing better to do. Why don't you find a better hobby? I'm like, how do you respond to that nonsense?
Well, it is harassment, Shamil. You really shouldn't. I can't even lay the sarcasm back on you like you can do it, man.
It's unreal, man. We're definitely heading towards the original plan, the Great Reset and everything else. It's happening right in front of our eyes.
And really, and the incubator is California, and where you live in New York. So, I mean, it's almost they use those places as pilot tests, and then they spread it all across the country.
100%, 100%. Not only New York, you take any major city across the globe, Moscow, for example, the new Moscow subway stations, they already have facial recognition cameras for you to enter the subway system if you want to use the service, right? If you want to go from point A to point B.
What if you have a mask on? Will they not let you board?
No, nobody at this point. Nobody wears mask, Brian. You know.
No. I'm talking about to obscure your. You know what I mean.
Well, then you're not gonna be able to enter the subway. That will be my take.
So, I mean, is that the reality though in Russia with the facial recognition? Will they not let you on the train?
Well, it's just that they're doing a testing run. They're doing a test run for now. It's not like it's required for you to have facial recognition. You still have the phone option to swipe. Like in New York City, where people use phones or credit cards to tap on a payment system to go through the turnstile and or pay for the bus, for example, right, for the fare. So definitely things are definitely happening. Things are definitely moving forward. The cashless society is going to happen no matter. We can all sit and type away all day long, and we're not going to change anything. That's all I'm trying to say. That's
Can
why
you give me something positive?
No, what I'm trying to say is I'm a keyboard warrior just like you guys. So I'm not hating on people who are being keyboard warriors. What I'm trying to say is we're moving forward with the original agenda, original plans since 2020 that they all set for us across the globe. And there's no stopping unless we go physically. Like, there's no point go on the road and attack a car. It has nothing to do. That car has nothing to do with anything. It's traveling on the road. Instead of taking your anger and your concerns to the location or to the people that actually causing all this, and giving them to them directly, people doing some stupid shit. But I'll just leave it at that, Brian. But thank you for taking my call.
No, stay on here for a second. I want to disagree with you, but I can't. Death Angel says he's correct. Everybody in the chat, put a 1 in the room if you agree with what Back Shamil is saying, is that they've got their agenda. They are going to go through with their agenda, and there's nothing we can do about it. I don't want to be black pilled like that. I want to be the white pill of hope. So I think in a way I am intentionally deceiving myself into thinking that we got a shot, but I can't argue with what you just said. Do you know what I mean?
There's no hope, people. Wake up and smell the coffee. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean it is dark and it's bleak. I don't want to be in that spot. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying, Brian. But from what I'm able to see at my job, I got my job. You know how I got my other job with a fake vaccination card. I couldn't get another job without producing. I went on the computer and made my own fake vaccination card. I couldn't get a job. Period.
Yeah, and didn't that fake one work?
Yeah, it worked, but now it's not a problem. I'm talking about the time period when I got fired and I had to look for another job because I have family to feed. If I was by myself, it would be a different story. I would not care.
Yeah.
So,
are you still riding public transportation for free, or did they cut that out?
No, I do that for free. I do it on purpose. Like every time I get stopped by the bus driver, I tell them, you know what? I got vaccinated and this is my free ride because the city told me if I get vaccinated, I get to ride for free for the rest of my life. And they're like, oh, what the hell are you talking about? It's the funniest shit ever, Brian. I'm telling you, you got to live life and enjoy the life and be happy. That's all that matters. Be happy, do you, as long as you don't harm anyone or steal or rape anyone. That's all. If you do silly stuff like me, by all means, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to even look down on you because your happiness is what matters, period.
You got one shot to go around this crazy world, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right, Brian. Thank you so much. Much love, bro. Peace out.
All right, you too. Bye. Harmful Content says you guys don't have a shot because you're a bunch of ignorant losers, but I believe I will accomplish my goals. Way to get people on board with you there, Harmful Content. And why aren't you coming on the live stream so we can have a positive discussion? Nicole, thanks for being here.
Hey, Brian, can you hear me?
You don't sound like Nicole.
Okay, so that's first thing. I'm not a Nicole. This is my wife's phone. My other phone died. So
Hey, you've kidnapped Nicole. Now, come on, be honest.
I swear I'm alive. I'm right here.
Nicole, blink twice if you're okay.
Yeah,
what's up,
I
man?
appreciate you taking my call, Brian.
Yeah.
In fact, we've actually spoken in the past. I go by Nate Frame on your channel. I subscribe to you. I leave some comments, whatnot. I'm gonna make this I wanted to make this like about 60 seconds because I know you got to go. But the timing couldn't have been any more impeccable because of harmful content that the comment that he just made.
Yeah.
To make a long story short, his channel, he covers a lot of like legitimate information, but it's very like few and far between. And he's called you out in his comment section as a limited hangout. And I actually pushed against that because he says that you don't criticize Israel and, things are happening, overseas and whatnot. But I mean, there's plenty of your videos out there that I've referenced to him to check out because you do very well call out, the corruption there. So I don't know where he's going off with, this negativity. And he never really even responded to my pretty elaborate but respectful comment that I left on his page, but that's beside the point.
Was it under one of his videos?
Yeah, in fact, I screenshot it on my end because I figured he's not one for criticism, and so I think it was deleted. It was under. I mean, I couldn't even remember looking at the thumbnails. I see you scrolling through them right now.
Yeah, these are his latest videos. Was it under one of the latest videos of his?
It is, yeah. It's like more towards the top, I believe. I could send you the link. But that actually brings me to my first point. I actually previously emailed you a few months back. And I've tried leaving you comments too, just to kind of get your awareness, but I know that gets lost in the noise. But if you search your email, the subject is Christian plus content, 2 birds, 1 stone. If you look up your email and find that, I'm sure I'll pop up. So you can kind of do that on your own time. But I wanted to kind of point you to that so we can have, hopefully a more in-depth personal conversation if you find the time. I know we're both busy, but just wanted to kind of make that plug.
I just wrote it down. Christian plus content, 2 birds, 1 stone. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's the subject line of the email. Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll try to look for it. It'll be tomorrow before I can get around to it. But
for sure.
And as far as harmful content, I would definitely welcome an honest dialogue. But it's kind of like some other people who've already it's almost like they're going out of their way to burn a bridge. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's where we should be with humanity. Yeah, we can disagree with each other, but I've lowered myself to name calling, which it's never good, because I truly believe that we can all learn something from everybody else because we don't have all knowledge and we're just people trying to. I know that harmful content probably wants freedom for himself and freedom for me, and you probably want the same thing, and I want the same thing. We may have different ways to go about it, but I think if we can have a constructive dialogue and then actually put feet behind what we hammer out, I think we could maybe make some headway.
See, it's kind of ironic though, because the reason how I found out about harmful content was actually a previous live stream of yours that I work on the road a lot. So I listen to your content, I thumbs up it, I share it every single day, I have you on notification because I'm on the road about 12 hours a day.
Wow.
And
every day?
Every day. Yeah. I work 50 hours a week.
Are you a truck driver?
Yeah. Yep.
Holy cow, man.
So one of your past live streams I was listening to, and he popped in on one of your StreamYards, and I actually found him to be super respectable, super informational. He got into some of the conversation points about the royal bloodlines and how presidents are selected and why they're selected. They're blue blood, so they venture back all the way to the Vikings. And I've got some pretty cool research of my own that I've held since like 2020, since I started to wake up at that time, where there's legitimate what are they called? Bloodlines or birth lines from Trump all the way back to the Viking leaders and whatnot. So, and all the presidents there are interconnected one way or another. but that's again beside the point. But again, I brought up harmful content because like he seemed pretty respectable and, you know, informational. So I went onto his page, but I was like really taken back when he was actually calling you out in his comment section as being a limited hangout. And I'm like, well, I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I'm a very objective thinker and I like to follow truth wherever truth may lead. But do you have any claims to back that up? Any sort of examples? But again, it just kind of got lost in the weeds and never heard from him. But
yeah, and I think it's so easy in this day and age. You know, I'm going to pull the day and age thing, but I think it's really easy in this day and age to sit behind a computer, and people are more bold. Whereas if me and you and harmful content went out for a cup of coffee or something, I doubt we would be talking to each other in person like we talk to each other on the internet. You know what I mean? At least that's been my experience.
And he seemed respectful to you on the air though, which was interesting too. So I was like, well, I mean, they seem to have a pretty, you know, good common ground. Again, I just kind of taken back as to why he would throw shade. But anyways, I didn't come on here to talk about harmful content. Just he posted that as I was waiting in line, and I just had to make that known. But one other thing I wanted to kind of pitch to you is I know that Here's the Deal is a police corrupt / abuse / audit sort of channel. And I mean, you've opened my eyes to a lot of things I never was aware of. But again, I'm an objective thinker. I try to follow truth and see things from different perspectives. And I'm curious, have you followed or seen the channel Cop Talk Live by chance by Dominic Izzo?
Yeah, I did a video. I did a live stream on Dominic Izzo. I don't know what to think about that guy. I don't think I gave him a fair shake though. Cop Talk Live. I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, and if I could point you to his one of his second to most recent video, it's what was his name? Sean. He's an auditor.
Sean Reyes.
That could be his last name.
Paul Reyes from Long Island Audit.
Yes, and it's his number one rule broken or whatever. That second video. Watch that because that was the first video I found out about him like a few days ago on the road. And I think Dominic does a really good job articulating his position on his experience as a cop, but also his credit that he gives to auditors. And I mean, I'd like to get your feedback. If you could actually do if I could make a selfish request, do a live stream or not live stream, but do a video covering that video, like a reaction sort of thing.
Okay, let me show you. It wasn't too long. Maybe it was a long time ago. Holy cow. Dominic Izzo was talking to another former or current police officer. Let's see. I did a live stream. I was going to go ahead and drop the link in it so you could take a look at it.
Sure.
And I feel, here it is right here. Watch two cops expose their own crimes live. In this video, it's a really interesting video. Dominic and this guy named Ted Stern, who I think is a current law enforcement officer, or at least he was during this live stream, admitted that they've given tickets as a pattern, as a course of their career. They've given tickets for the attitude of the driver, not that they broke laws, but that they didn't cooperate with the cops. So I thought that was really interesting. And maybe I condemned him too harshly because I do appreciate honesty. If you're honest about that, and it was a dick thing to do, but you were honest about it later, maybe there's some hope for you.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I'll do that, man. I'll look at this video and see what the deal
I think
is.
you'll really like it, honestly. And I mean, I'm very I don't know. I just try to be very objective. And this one, I was like, oh, a cop running his own cop talk channel. Like, what's this going to be about? A lot of propaganda, but I don't see it as that. So I'd like to get your take.
It's been a while, but it seems there was something about Dominic and this other guy. I was like, no, they still, even though they're saying a lot of right things about the cops, there was something that they still accept as though it were legitimate. You know what I mean? But I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'll try to go back over it. I appreciate
I'm sorry to take your time up. One last thing I wanted to say was I've made a previous comment to you last time we spoke together, was if you're looking for a producer, someone in graphic design, marketing, social media, that sort of thing, like I have a lot of ideas I think that would be simple to implement for you and your channel to help you grow. And so that'd be a lot of fun to discuss offline if you were open to that.
Sounds good, man. You better be, I'll tell you what, before you go, you better be taking care of Nicole.
She's holding my 1-year-old baby who just woke up from her sleep. So yeah, we're all safe and sound over here.
All right, brother. Hey, I appreciate you calling in.
Thanks, Brian.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye. Okay, guys, I got to get, man, I can't believe we've been doing this for almost 2.5 hours. I can't remember what it was about Dominic Izzo. I can't remember. I always like to give people a fair shake. I know people are probably saying something to the, maybe you guys remember something. I think Izzo is starting to realize how corrupt he and the gang he was a part of is and was, says Steve. Doesn't really mean anything, but I think he's starting to realize, well, maybe it means something. I always like to have hope, and I'm always willing to admit that my hope may be misguided. But back to harmful content, dude, I love you. Maybe you got good ideas. I haven't poked my nose around your videos in a while, and I've got no bad feelings for you. And he says, it was enlightening. Sorry for being a jerk. Like I often am. I shouldn't judge you guys like the 10th man did. Dude, harmful content. You and I and everybody else in this room, I don't care what country they're in, are all in the same boat. And we really probably should start working together. And if I've said something off color to offend you, I apologize. I hold no ill will. Maybe we should get together and you and I have a live stream if you're up for that. I'm not a gotcha kind of guy. I do want to come up with solutions. I don't want just ideologies as solid and sound as I might think they are. I want to come up with solutions that we can actually put into practice so that we can secure whatever freedom we might think we have and become less enslaved to the system. You know what I mean? So that's all I got right now. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Let me just give some real quick shout outs for the super chatters and the members. If you haven't become a member and you want to become a member or you want to support this channel, it's not ever anticipated, but it's always appreciated. The links are in the description, or just become a member through here on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. But Sevenfold, appreciate the membership. Stomper, same thing. Sevenfold does a $5 super chat. And I already read all these out, but I want to give you guys some credit here at the end. Russell Houston, thank you. Joseph Doe, thanks for being a member. Butch, Neural, Allie Bell, thanks for being a member. Don Howard, Steve, Harry Smith, Officer Tater Hater. Don't forget to send me that thing, man. Fishman, David S, and Roper Overbearing. Oh, wait, I don't think I read. My loved one is dying or injured. It's pancake time. I don't get that. In my opinion, the street blockers have misguided aim, but intentionally driving through them is a huge force imbalance. Only the morally corrupt would do that. I don't think I could do it. I don't even think that I could say that I would do it. I just don't think I could run over somebody with my car. I don't know, man. It depends on the if I don't know. It's just, I guess it's situational. I don't know. Roper Overbearing, $5. It's always good never to say never. Like it's never good to say never. Never say never. All right, guys. Valentino comes in with an 11th hour, $10 super chat. Great conversation. Glad I was able to catch you. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question because I really, really appreciate, and I definitely want to shout out before I go, Long Island Audit. Long Island Audit. I think that what he did with Kaptua Fahey was exceptional. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. And one of the reasons I say that, and if you haven't seen the video, it's called Unhinged Cop Spits on My Face, Draws His Gun, and I Get Arrested. What Sean Paul Reyes from Long Island Audit, and I've got the link in the chat so that you can take a look at it. But what I think that Sean did with this video is unearth a systemic problem, not just in the Connecticut Trooper Department, but all over America, because the same spirit that allowed Detective Fahey, Cop Tua Fahey, to do what he did to Sean is the same spirit that's in every single order follower who will absolutely trample your rights because they were told to, because they were indoctrinated to do that. This is the problem with the world, guys. And beyond this, it reveals that I can't even believe that Fahey, I might do a live stream. Put a 1 in the room if you want to do a live stream reaction on Sean's video. I'd prefer that you see it from him, because this literally needs 10, 15, 20 million views. It's got 791,000 views. This thing needs a lot of eyes on it, because not only did it unearth the tyrannical dark heart of one tyrant exponentiated to a systemic problem, but it also revealed that anybody who would stand in Fahey's corner and continue to support him in the face of a journalist going to his door, trying to hold him accountable for an ungodly amount of $80-something thousand worth of overtime per year, anybody who would still support a Detective Fahey in the face of that, man, we've got some serious, serious problems. And we really, really should have a very serious conversation about it that will yield actual changes. That they can find any trooper to sit outside of this guy's house and protect this criminal is an absolute mind blower to me. So I wasn't looking in the room. If I get, let's see, there's 1,000 people. No, there's not 1,000 people. I don't know how many on YouTube. It says 1,000 on my StreamYard counter. But if I get 200 ones in the room, I will do a live stream tomorrow at, what is tomorrow? At 4 or 5 p.m. At 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I got to write this down or I'll forget it. Okay, a live stream at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we will go over this interaction between Cop Tua Fahey from the Connecticut Trooper Division as he spits on Sean Paul Reyes. So if I get 100 ones or 100 likes or 100 ones in the chat room, and I will do it. 318. There's only 318 watching. Where are the 1,000 coming from? Oh, it must be from Twitter. Like, no, it's so pitiful to have 300,000 or whatever the subscriber count is now and only have 300 people. It's like 0.001%. Shows you how popular here's the deal YouTube channel is. Brian, you're not entertaining enough. You need to go full Alex Jones now. That's okay. All right, so if I get 200 ones, we will do it tomorrow, and it will be 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will do a live stream reacting to the unhinged cop spits on my face, because there's a lot of things we got to talk about here, and Sean did a great job and needs to be supported. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. Thanks to everybody who called in. Remember, the price of freedom, and there is a price, is eternal vigilance and indifference to this notion. And we have all been indifferent, is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. Let's stop securing our own oppression. Let's start today. And I'll see you guys in the next video after I say thank you to Valentino and thank you to Steve. Much aloha. Don't forget to hit that like. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like. I will see you in the next video. Take care.